control. Take off some jewelry, it's on fire. I'm watching what you wear. Who's standing next to me? I'm precious on the rooftop, kissed a secret, put my face on sour apple. How's your summer? I forgot mine, I was nothing for a while, yeah. Just staring at the big sky. Just staring at it, hold me back down. That's a long shot, leave it on the ground. That's my favorite piece, just staring at the big sky. Silk in a messy room. No, I'm on the range again, it's on fire. Pulse on the summer dregs. And something was on my mind. I'm precious on the rooftop, kissed a secret, put my face on sour apple. How's your summer? I forgot mine, I was nothing for a while, yeah. Just staring at the big sky. Just staring at it, hold me back down. That's a long shot, leave it on the ground. That's my favorite piece, just staring at the big sky. Hold me back down. That's a long shot, leave it on the ground. That's my favorite piece, just staring at the big sky. Just staring at the big sky. Jim, stop, I make me lose control. Just staring at the big sky. Just staring at the big.
Old School Club, I got your question submission. I'm going to answer, it's a good question, and I'm going to answer it during the live. I'm just vibing right now, making sure everything is still working. It's going to be a banger live stream. Absolute banger. Alright. Looks like people are starting to filter in. How was everybody's Sunday? Good morning. Where are you at? Kai was here, but it's morning. It is 9 p.m. for me. Transparently, I'm an old man. I'm usually in bed in 20 minutes, so this is going to be funny. I got a little bit of caffeine, so hopefully I managed to stay awake for the entire live stream, but I've been working on this thing for the last 4 months, so I wanted to do something cool, something a little bit special, and thank everybody who's kind of been along for the journey. Whether you buy the course or not, I appreciate everybody that is here and everybody that's followed the channel. Obviously, like, I make the content for you guys, but there's no reason to make the content without you guys, and it is because of my YouTube subscribers that I've been able to build a business off of the back of doing something I love, which is educating entrepreneurs. So huge thank you to everybody that is here tonight. It's gonna be fun, and I'll do my best to stay awake. I'll do my best to keep it fun. I've got a pretty special live stream planned. I've been working with Claude Design on some improvements to the stream. For anybody that's seen one of my live streams before, they're typically very primitive. So, what up? What up, G? What up, Tomas Biz? Kai was here. Oh, it's Kieran. Oh my God, yeah, dude, it's fucking 2:30 a.m. Everybody, Kai was here as an animal. He set his alarm today for 2:30 a.m. so that he could watch this live stream. Absolute fucking animal. OFM Danny, it's only 9 p.m., bro. Why are you so tired? Because, once again, I am an old man, and I usually go to bed around 9:30, so, it's just how it be. That's just how it be. I am not I don't fit in with the typical OFM crowd, let's say. I'm not like an out late, party all night kind of guy. Let me put on something slightly more chill. Let's do Atmospheric D&B, Alex G. Let's do Alex G. Yeah, don't worry, Winky Flex. It's my bedtime too, but I will make it worth it. It's gonna be really fun. I've got a ton of really good questions for the Q&A segment. I've got some interesting. I haven't looked at most of the Instagram profiles that I was asked to because I like to go into those blind. But we've got. Let me see. Hold on. Let me check the admin page really quick. Oh, we got 4 more questions since the stream started. Jesus, okay. If anybody would like to, so just FYI, I am not taking questions from chat today. If you look in the description of the video, or the description of the live stream, the second link says submit questions / Instagram review requests. If you want me to read a question tonight, make sure you submit it there. I can't promise I'm going to get to all of them. There's a lot, but I will get to as many as I possibly can. So... and that also, asking a question or submitting a profile for review is also how you enter the raffle tonight. At the end of tonight, one person who submitted a question or review is going to receive a free license for the course. This is a $3,000 course. Somebody's going to get the license for free tonight. So make sure you ask a question. And again, somebody's going to be selected randomly at the end of this. So... Any more going on with OnlyClaw? Yes. Just slight delay of game. I was trying to do OnlyClaw while I was setting this course stuff up, and I just really needed to focus on the course. So apologies for getting everybody super excited about OnlyClaw. I am going to be, my next kind of big pivot is going to be more towards AI, like agentic AI for operations. And also, I've been building a lot of really cool creative tools with agentic AI, specifically with Hermes and Claude Code. So I'll probably be showcasing some of those. But yeah, I'm still super invested in that stuff, still spending a lot of time on it, and I'm going to create content about it and products around it. But my focus up until now has been the course. I wanted to make sure that this went right. It's a very complicated product. A, to market, and then B, to also build it. I'm going to show you guys what I've built tonight and do kind of a showcase of the academy. But it's when you see it, you will understand why I had to focus exclusively on that and nothing else. Has all the website stuff been done with Claude? Pretty sick. Yeah, basically everything has been done with some combination of an abliterated Gem of 4 that's hosted on bare metal and Claude Code. So I have been using these tools really heavily. I'll give you guys just a quick, since we're just waiting. I'm also going to switch to music that does not have lyrics so that I can focus. Hope you guys like this. I'm gonna set this to loop. Perfect. All right. How's music volume? Is it? Yeah, I am taking my mask off. In fact, it's off right now. What you're seeing right now is, look, this is live. This isn't a picture. This is me, guys. That's me right there with my mask off. You heard it here first. That's me. People have been wanting to know what I look like. I am a cute little raccoon that my fiance knit me. That's what I am. All right, so let me add these questions to the queue, and then I'll do a quick little preview of the course. We're gonna go deep on the course, don't worry. But right now, I just got to make sure that the live stream is all set up because we're getting hella questions, and I want to get to as many as I possibly can. But I fucked myself and made the question interface a little bit complicated. So, okay, so let's just do this. It looks like there are some kind of duplicate-ish questions, which is fine, but I'm going to not answer too many duplicates. So once again, if you guys are just getting here, I'm still setting up the stream, so just bear with me. I'm gonna look at chat and answer questions all night, but I just want to make sure, let's see, that everything is set up properly for the stream. Hiya. Man, some complicated questions tonight too. This is gonna be good. Once again, appreciate everybody who has submitted questions so far. I cannot promise that I will get to them all, but I will get to as many as I possibly can. And even if I don't answer your question, if you submit a question at the second link in the description, you enter a raffle to win a free, read it here, free license for the course, which is a $3,000 course. So make sure that you submit a question, and like I said, even if I don't get to it, you're still entering in the raffle. So approve question, approve question, approve question, approve question, approve question. And we've got 10 reviews so far. Okay, lordy, yeah. Cool. We are gonna have a banger-ass live stream. Wow, 24 people watching already, and we haven't even started yet. I love it. I gotta hype these live streams up more often, I guess. Turnout's gonna be like this. Let's see. Wonder if we can get to 100 concurrent tonight. Everybody, guys, like the stream. You have to like the stream. Like the stream to support the channel, guys. I don't have enough money, so like the stream. Zoe Williams, hey, thanks for all your videos. I found your information refreshing. I'm a new agency with just one model so far, but I've integrated a lot of your ideas. Love that. Hey, by the way, stay a new agency with one model. Learn the business before you try to scale. I see so many people, they're like just getting into the business and they're trying to sign multiple models. It's like, buddy, you don't know what you're doing with the first one yet. Like, calm the fuck down. Don't try to acquire models until you actually learn the business, because you're not going to keep them if you suck at your job, obviously. And it's way better to scale properly with one model, learn the business, learn the model, develop a great relationship with that model. If you can do this for a year with that model and have success with it, that's maybe about the time you should really, maybe not a full year, maybe like 6 months, 7 months, you're delivering results, something like this. That's when you start thinking about bringing on new models. But yeah, make sure to click the like button, guys. I think that helps more people see the stream. I honestly don't know how any of this shit works. So yeah, just fucking like it, bro. Is there still a discount for waitlist? Yes, the waitlist discount will last until 11 p.m. Eastern, so you've got 2 more hours to join the waitlist. Guys, if you are not on the waitlist, I strongly recommend that you do so right now, because waitlister, even if you don't win the raffle or get the special discount that I'm going to give live stream people tonight, you will still get $1,000 off of the course tonight at midnight when it launches. So please make sure that you join the waitlist. I'm not trying to charge everybody full price. I want everybody who's been here, I want all my day ones to come up with me. You feel? So go ahead and smash that motherfucking like button. Yeah, you guys are hitting that heart button. I love that. I love how much you guys heart this. Pew, 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 pew. Okay, cool. Awesome, much appreciated, guys. 8 minutes to go until we really kick this thing off. Mere 8 minutes. Once again, I'm repeating myself, but there's new people in here, so I'll probably be repeating myself a lot. Thank you guys so much for being with me for this journey. This has been such an interesting thing. Starting the YouTube channel, making leaving a very successful business to do something that I wasn't really sure would work out. I haven't really talked about this very much. When I started the consulting practice last September and stepped away from management, all I had was a YouTube channel, some people who were interested in my ideas. I had some consulting clients. I had some people that, were willing to pay me for my time and my expertise, and that was cool. But I was not sure what direction this business was going to go in. And I have just been, the amount of support and the amount, just the fact that this YouTube channel by itself has made it possible for me to build a business where I'm very likely going to clear $1 million this year in revenue just from consulting, info products, software. It's awesome. It's really cool. And this is just so much. I'm going to answer this question later in the stream when I explain why I stepped away from management. But I just have to say that I have not regretted a second. And I'm really glad that what I have to say helps you guys. And that mutual exchange of value is what makes all of this possible. So really, really appreciate everybody that's been here, that watches the content, that's subscribed. All of that stuff means more than you can possibly know. So really appreciate it, guys. WinkyFlex7826, I'm going to answer that during the live stream. But I think it's something that I don't think it's a terribly unique story, to be honest. I hate to disappoint, but it's like a pretty simple case of not particularly enjoying doing one thing, really enjoying doing another thing, and being really motivated to make money doing the thing that I actually enjoy. That raccoon, I promised my fiance I wouldn't say the raccoon's name, but he's our little buddy. You can call him, well, it's me actually. I'm the raccoon, so you can call him Francis. Close this window, close this window. Yeah, we are at go time. We are very close. 5 minutes to go, guys. 5 minutes to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go over a quick schedule. I'm probably not going to stick to the schedule. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. Very unlikely that I actually stick to the schedule. I'm probably just going to mostly be answering questions and doing Instagram reviews, and briefly show you guys the course and what you'll be getting. But yeah, in 5 minutes, I'll go over the schedule, and then I'm going to start answering questions right away. So if you have questions, make sure you get them in now. It's going to be really hard for me to start incorporating more once the live stream really kicks off, just because there's a lot of moving parts. So submit those questions now. Everybody who submits a question will be entered into a raffle to win a free license for the course. So am I the Hormozy of OFM, or is Hormozy the Faceless Francis of Safe for Work Business? That's funny. I'm definitely not Alex Hormozy. I deeply admire his work, for sure. He's a phenomenal educator, but I would not compare myself to Alex Hormozy. No, we're not quite there yet. I'm not even the Alex Hormozy of OFM. Something that I want to, and I don't think this is a question that'll be asked, but something I just want to make really clear is that I'm not the world's foremost expert on OFM. There are guys that know way more about this business than I do, especially on the chat side. That's why I talk to so many people in the industry, because I know how little I understand. OFM's very complicated. Nobody that I know of is good at everything. Nobody that I know of is an expert at all of it. I just happen to be particularly good at my little slice of the pie, which is organic social, and probably at this point I'm one of the more cutting edge people in terms of incorporating agentic AI into my operations. So those are the two things that I'm going to focus on. But the reason that I don't compare myself to an Alex Hormozy is because he has just such broad, rich, robust entrepreneurial knowledge that pertains to so many different businesses and so many different domains. I don't have that. I just have a pretty good head for business, really like organic social, really like content creation, really like filmmaking, which is why I made the course is about organic social, right? It's not about how to do every part of OFM. I think that the more generalized you get, the more useless it is. I am teaching you guys a very specific skill related to what I believe is marketing, which I believe is the highest leverage sort of pillar of OnlyFans management, and what I believe to be the highest leverage form of marketing for OnlyFans management. So That's my thing. I don't want you guys to think, people ask me questions about like proxies and like setting up like rotating like mobile proxies and like phone farms and stuff. And I understand those at a conceptual level, but I'm the wrong guy to ask, just FYI. I will take best free resource on YouTube from what I found. I'll take that. I think that's an accurate superlative, so I appreciate that, guy. Would love to hear about the AI use. I use AI currently for image gen for previews on Reddit and Instagram, and I use LLM for chat with browser automation. That's cool. Yeah, I would say that like, we'll get into it on the stream for sure. I've been obsessed with these tools, so I've got before they patched it, I had 4 separate Claude Max subscriptions, and I was maxing every single one of them out on a weekly basis. I was really sad when they patched that, but I knew that I had to take advantage of it while they could. So I've been using these tools ferociously, just nonstop for like the last 2.5 months. Most of what you're about to see today would not have been possible without them. I would have had to go in a completely different direction. I would have had to like host the course through like Kajabi or something. I built all of the course infrastructure myself, which means that because I own every part of the pipeline, I don't have to pay fees to anybody. I don't have to, but like more than that, I have complete control over the product. And I think I've built something really special and fun in a learning environment that people are actually going to enjoy and get a ton of value out of and actually retain the information, plus a bunch of really cool tools that you can use to apply all of the learnings into your business day one, right away. I would not have been able to do any of that stuff without Agentic AI. So we'll definitely get into it. Is the course front-end only, no back-end chatting scripts or NSFW content direction? That is correct. There's no chatting. I want to be super transparent about that. No chatting, no content direction. I am working on a chat portion of the course with Chatstar, who is the #1 chat agency in the United States, #4 on inflow right now. Mans is pulling down $9 million a month. So I've seen his inflow. I've sat with him in person and watched him. Like he's extremely legit, very sharp operator, very cool guy. Very fortunate to consider him a friend, but I'm going to be working on a chat course with him. That is not this course. That's going to be a totally separate thing. So it's in the pipeline, but it's not this. Hello, Balloon Zubrinko. I think I know how to pronounce your name, Balloon Zubrinko. I don't know where you are from. It's a very exotic name that is foreign to my tongue, but I saw your question submission and I was like, oh, it's an actual person's name. That makes way more sense. How many IG accounts am I going to review? Insert 11. Oh, start time. We're here, guys. Welcome to the stream. How many people do we have right now? 43 watching. The stream just started, and I think this is my biggest live stream so far, which is telling me that you guys are excited and that I have done something right. So here's kind of the agenda for tonight. For everybody that's just tuning in and has no fucking idea what's going on, I am releasing a course that I've been working on for the last 4 months tonight. And so everybody that is on the live stream, if you're not already on the wait list, if you join the wait list within the next 3 hours, or let's call it next hour and a half to be safe, you're going to get $1,000 off at midnight when the course launches. So make sure that you join the wait list right now. In addition, everybody who submits a question in the live stream is going to receive, not everyone, is going to be entered into a raffle to win a free license for the course, which is $3,000. And then finally, towards the end, I'm going to show you guys a one-time use promo code. The first 10 people who use the promo code will be able to get the course half off. So make sure that you stick around until the end to get that promo code. And the first 10 people who use that promo code, so it's going to be first come, first serve. You got to do it fast. And this isn't like a fake FOMO thing. It's actually just 10, like, this isn't I'm not doing an OnlyFans subscription thing where it's like next 10 subscribers get, it's like actually only 10 people. So you're going to want to be quick hands on that. So, all right, everybody's ready. Fantastic. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. Let me know if at any point the music is too loud or like annoying or something like that, or gets too repetitive. I just have a very chill track looped. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. I'm going to be delivering a lot of value tonight, and I really hope that you guys like what I have to share and enjoy this process. I've worked really hard on the course. I've worked really hard on the stream, and I just wanted to do something special for the launch. So without further ado, we're going to start with the intro, which is what's happening right now. Don't worry, it'll be over soon. We are then going to do 60 minutes of viewer Q&A. So everybody who has submitted questions, you're in the queue already. I'll look to see as we get through tonight. I'm going to try to get to all questions, but I think there's over like 50 in the queue, and we only have until midnight. So, and we're doing Instagram reviews, so no promises. But everyone who submits a question, again, will be entered into a raffle. So make sure that you do that. It's the second link in the description. So after the Q&A, I'm going to do a teaser of the course. I'm going to walk you guys through and show you kind of everything that's included at a surface level. Then we're going to go into the Instagram review, where I take a look at people's Instagrams that they have requested me to review. And then, hold on. Okay. My fiance is being very sweet and supportive. And then we're going to do a full demo of the course. So I'm going to walk you. I might do like a preview of one of the modules so you guys can see how it actually looks, actually works. And then I'll show you guys some of the tools that I have built that accompany the modules. After that, we'll try to answer the last few questions, and then I'm going to do the live-only discount code. Remember, that's just going to be the first 10 people who use it, and then I will announce the raffle winner. By the way, raffle people, you don't have to stay until the very end of the stream. I know it's going to be really late or really early for some of you. So like, if you don't worry, if you win the raffle, it's not going to be like, oh, are you here to claim it? Oh, I guess it goes to the next guy. You're going to get your ticket if you win. So, once again, thank you, everybody. I'm going to say it a lot tonight. But this is the culmination of the last 4 months of my life. I put a lot of work into this. I really hope it doesn't suck. And I'm not just delusional. But everybody who's taken the course has had very positive things to say about it. And I am hopeful that you guys will too. So here we go. Question time. Let me make sure this works. Oh, wrong slide. Already fucking it up. All right. What if you use the 50% off and win the raffle? Shit. That's actually a good point. I will do the raffle first. That's a good that is a good point. Okay. So I submitted a question. Please feel free to spam my email. I find yourself interesting. Great. All right. 3 a.m. in South Africa. Stay on an hour. Oh, we've got another South African. Awesome. 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 All right. I'm going to sip my tea. Okay. What is the reason that I wear the mask? I answered this really thoroughly on somebody else's podcast. I think it was Only Monsters. So I'm going to cheat here and actually look at what I said during that. So, okay. There's 3 reasons. The first is I'm going to say it's like a fun reason, a practical reason, and then one very serious reason. The fun reason is that, and this is also part of the reason that I stopped doing management, which I'll talk about later. The fun reason is that I thought it would be an interesting challenge to build a legitimate personal brand without a real identity associated with it. Sort of like asking the question of what would that look like if I executed really well? Because we obviously have like faceless OnlyFans creators is a thing. And so, but it's generally associated with like, it's harder to get like a faceless creator off the ground. And I wondered if that would be true of like B2B content. I don't really know of anybody else in any domain that's doing this. So I thought it would be a fun challenge. I also knew that I didn't want to do like, I'm all about branding, obviously. I knew that I didn't want to just do info videos with B-roll because there's like a dynamism in having a human being on screen that's moving their hands and talking. But the idea was like, what if that human being was basically just like a mannequin? So it's kind of a funny premise and it's limiting in a lot of ways. I have to say, like, there are days that I regret it because the mask is really fucking hot sometimes. But yeah, that's the fun reason. The practical reason, is that I've been making other people famous for the better part of the last 4 years, or, you know, famous within our domain, or famous enough to make them millionaires, basically. I don't have any desire for fame. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be known. If I die and nobody knows my name, I'd be ecstatic about that. But I have firsthand, obviously, having constructed them, seen the power of brand, and I wanted to be able to leverage that for myself without compromising my identity. So I love professional education. I knew that I wanted to get into consulting and media production once I started winding down management operations. I didn't think that I would be able to do that without a personal brand, but I also didn't want to dox myself. So this is kind of the middle ground that I found. I do not speak Afrikaans, to the person in the chat who asked the skirt. But I have some Afrikaner friends. Shouts out to Cora Creative. They are awesome and based in Cape Town. And they're the Afrikaans people on their team are some of the funniest fucking people I've ever met in my life. The last super serious reason that I do the mask thing, I think in the long run, this industry is not going to be looked upon kindly by the world. I think that, like, fundamentally, it's exploitative of weak, vulnerable people who often live on the fringes of society and are potentially dangerous. And I'm a guy whose job basically is to say, like, yeah, I don't really care about you. I think that you're, like, kind of pathetic if you quote unquote fall for our product. And, like, I don't sugarcoat what I say. My job is to teach other people to exploit people as efficiently as possible at scale. It's not a good thing. Now, I'm comfortable operating in morally gray territory. Doesn't bother me. I've made the decision to participate in this industry. Somebody wants to come after me, I can take care of myself. No problem. I don't think it's a big risk, by the way. But for me, it's like the 0.00001% chance that some disgruntled gooner decides that I'm the root of all evil, and they know who I am, and they maybe want to hurt people that I care about, people that did not make the decision to be in this industry. To me, even though it's a tiny, tiny risk, it's unacceptable, and so I protect my identity. It's really more about family and the people that I love in my life that are associated with me than myself. I have zero shame. I have no, like, one of the common things that I get from people that are outside of the industry is like, oh, you must be ashamed of what you do. Zero shame whatsoever. I would associate my identity with it if it were not for the fact that that potentially puts people that I care about at risk. So that is why the mask. Don't know if that's the reason that you were expecting, but those are like the three kind of core reasons. Next question. Can you explain what organic marketing actually means? You mention it a lot, but I don't fully get why it's so important versus just running ads. Yeah, so organic marketing just means, my definition, and I think this is like the generally accepted definition, organic marketing just means marketing that you don't pay for the distribution of. It's not to say, like, obviously, like, you can pay for organic marketing. There's costs that are associated with organic marketing. You need a phone or a camera. You need, there's equipment costs. There's some overhead. There's like locations and costume and all that fun stuff. It's not free marketing, but it's specifically organic marketing is marketing for which you do not pay for the distribution of the content. And so historically, organic has been stuff like word of mouth. Like, I like your product, I tell somebody else that I like it. That's free marketing, right? You didn't pay for that. In fact, you got paid for it because it's sort of organic marketing innately as a consequence of its nature of being free is by definition the highest leverage form of marketing, because if something has zero cost and can potentially generate you infinite dollars, that's clearly, just by the definition of what leverage is, that is the highest leverage thing, the highest leverage form of marketing that can possibly exist. So that's why it's so important. And today we have these organic marketing platforms. We have Instagram and TikTok and X and YouTube, all of these incredible platforms that will deliver your content to your exact target audience. They have 3 billion plus monthly active users, so you can potentially reach half of the world's population, or let's call it like a third of the world's population, whatever, I'm not a stats guy, for free. What? Like, that's fucking insane. I say this in my content, so I don't think this should come as a surprise to anybody that's listening, but like, if you just think about that for more than 4 seconds, it's clearly what you should spend most of your time figuring out how to take advantage of. It's not like I don't love socials. I don't think that Instagram's like good for the world. But whether you like socials or not, the reality is that these are free marketing platforms that, if you become skilled at them, will deliver your precise message to the people who are most ready to receive it, and it's unbelievably easy to monetize that attention. So that's why I care so much about organic marketing. A paid ad is you're paying money to force somebody to see something they don't want to see. An organic ad is you are making your advertisement something that the consumer actually enjoys watching. And how much easier is it to convert off of that, how much more people will be willing to spend, and how much more people will be willing to spend on a cost basis, on an actual like volume of expenditure, which is why it's not a secret that like organic social also has the highest LTVs of any customer, because you're reaching just the right target audience and they're ready to receive that message. So yeah, organic marketing is incredible. It's like just what most people should give a shit about no matter what business you're in. And it just so happens to be the case that, you know, one of the interesting things about OnlyFans is it's the solution to the creator monetization problem. And so for like most organic social creators, even if you're really funny, you're like really clever, and you're good at reaching a lot of people, it's not necessarily clear how to monetize that attention. But with OnlyFans, you can make money doing anything because the content is the product. So if you make good content, you can make content about doing something that you love doing. As long as you craft it in such a way that it's interesting to a specific target audience, you can monetize that attention directly through OnlyFans. So all of that stuff culminates in it matters a lot. Hopefully that answers your question. If you had to restart from zero today with no audience, what would your exact 30-day execution plan look like to hit your first 10K? I'm assuming that you mean me? Well, no. Hold on. Is this whoever asked this? Are you in the chat? Oops, did I just accidentally? No, okay. Mark, if you're in the chat, I want you to clarify something. Are you asking me what I would do personally, or are you asking for like an OnlyFans model what I would do? Because those are two very different things. If it was me, I would just go on YouTube. I would just start another YouTube. Like if I just had to restart, if all my shit got like blown up, I would just start another YouTube right away. 30-day execution plan to look like to hit your first 10K. I think you're asking kind of the wrong question. If that's your question, I wouldn't even think about like how am I hitting 10K in 30 days? I'm thinking, how do I make $1 million in a year? And sometimes that means not hitting 10K in your first 30 days. Sometimes that means, in this case, I put 4 months of work into this product. I haven't seen revenue from it yet. I have my early access people, so like I have, you know, roughly 30 people that were already willing to purchase the course. That told me, obviously, that gave me the information that there's substantial demand for this product. But I still put 4 months of work into this with there's no guarantee that I'm going to sell a single unit of this past the early access people. Obviously, I don't think that's the case, or I wouldn't have done it. But I think the real answer to your question is not like, how do I hit 10K in 30 days? It's how do I what's the most amount of money that I can make within a time frame that I'm comfortable with if I maintain a specific burn rate. And so for me, I think I would, if to answer your question, to take it literally, I guess, it would be, hold on, what's the best way to start OFM with only AI little budget? Okay, got it. Sorry. Owen, if you have questions, make sure to submit them at the second link in the description. I'm not going to be answering questions from chat tonight because there's people that have actually submitted questions through here. So, okay, to get back to this. If I'm taking your question literally and I have to make, gun to my head, I have to make $10,000 in 30 days, I'm just going to do consulting again. I have a Rolodex of people I have a 80-person wait list for my consulting. So I would just do that, and I would do 2 consulting clients and hit 10K. Now, if I had to start from, it's just a weird question, I guess. I think I might be taking it too literally. I'm a little bit autistic. So if you want to market, again, if you're in the chat, if you want to kind of clarify your question, I would be more than willing to come back to this. But I think I'm taking it too literally, and hopefully, I feel like I'm giving the wrong answer, but hopefully I gave some answer. Okay. Jess asks, what made you want to create a whole course? Like, what was the motivation behind it? That's a good one. I think, Blue Sunset Soup, I think he did mean if I were rock bottom, but it's like, depending on what he means, it's just such radically different answers that I don't want to answer the question and it's not the right question, I guess. I guess if I were doing like, he probably means to someone with no skills and no network how to make 10K. Oh, yeah, well then just don't even fucking think about making 10K. If you have no skills and no network, don't think about making 10K in 30 days. Like, that's not a realistic expectation. Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, hold on, let me see if I can go back to that question. So where are we? Sorry, answered. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, if I had no skills, I would just try to figure out what is the skill that, I mean, OFM's a great business for this, obviously. What is the skill that I would pick up to try to make that as quickly as possible? It's going to be probably something like OnlyFans management. But yeah, I would just, you have to learn how to do something, man. You can't just expect 10K. I think people get into this business thinking that it's like a get-rich-quick scheme, and that it is so easy that you can reasonably expect to make 10K in your first 30 days. Unfortunately, that was true at one point. It's not true anymore, which is part of the reason that I made this course. Is just like, you just can't, there's not money on the floor anymore. You have to actually work for it. And so the course is for the people that are actually willing to work for it. There's still an extraordinary amount of money. We're talking about a company that spun off $7.2 billion in revenue last year. A tiny, tiny slice of that pie is still worth millions of dollars. So by no means am I saying don't do OFM, but like have a little bit longer of a time horizon in terms of your expectation to make that money is my sincere answer. So yeah. You have no skills and no network. Yeah, no skills and no network, you should just focus on those things. That's a much more succinct way of. All right, I'm gonna move on. Oh God, did I fuck it up? What did I just do? Oh, whoops. There we go. Okay. Oh God, no, don't do that. God damn it. Okay, don't use that promo code, guys. I have to change it now. God fucking damn it, sorry. I knew something like that would happen. 1 second. I absolutely fucking knew it. Alright, if somebody gets to it, you got to it, but it should be shutting down now, so. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. No, don't do it. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Let me just make sure it's disabled. My bad. I fucking knew some stupid shit like that would happen too. Figures. Okay. Alright, thank you guys for being cool. Nobody used it. Nobody used it. Okay. Delete. Goodbye. Alright. I'm gonna change the thing. Okay, we'll come back to that later. So if you were, oh, great. Okay. If you were making so much money managing creators, why did you stop doing management and switch to teaching? So trying to think of how to answer this correctly. So it really wasn't a money reason, is the quickest answer. Basically, the long story short is that I really didn't enjoy managing. The way that I structured my business was that I just had way too much personal contact with the models, not in an inappropriate way or anything like that, but just like I just was having to deal with their problems all the time. I was, it was like constant kind of problem solving and back and forth about things that were really not relevant to the business in any way. I have my emotional depth is a kiddie pool. And so when you have multiple people that are like kind of expecting you to be like, I don't know, like a mentor or a father or a confidant or just like all of these complicated, just a psychological mess. I got really tired of navigating that. That was mostly an issue of like me not structuring the business correctly and just like not understanding the business at a fundamental level. I could have, if I had set the business up in such a way that I could have delegated all of that stuff to like an account executive, which you can do and you should, by the way, absolutely do. if I had started the business that way, it would have been different, but I did not start the business that way. And so like in some way, the personal relationships or like, you know, sort of faux friendships that I had with the models maintaining that became a requisite to maintaining the business. I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. And so there's practical reasons for not liking that. Obviously, there's the reason of like, if the personal relationship sours, that potentially like destroys the business relationship. That's obviously no good. And so even though I was making a lot of money, it felt a little unstable. And I also knew that it was not sustainable for me at a personal level. So it really has very little to do with money. As far as why I switched to teaching, I love teaching. I love entrepreneurial education. I love entrepreneurs. I love talking to people who are taking business seriously. I think that what we do as business owners is just like we get to play the most fun game in the world. And it's a game that like you never can stop getting better at. There's always somebody that's better than you. When you're ready to graduate in competition, it's like you learn and you meet better people and you meet people who think about the world in a different way. And I just think there's something magical about it. Maybe that's a little, weird to say or like a little woo-woo, but I just think that there's something incredible about business and it brings me such great joy. And I wasn't getting that with the models because they're not really entrepreneurs. They're just people that are taking advantage of a system that people have built, right? I wanted to own something. I wanted to build something. I did not want to make money off of a distribution platform that somebody else built. I wanted to make money because my ideas are good, they work, and people are willing to pay me for them. That excites me way more than, telling some girl like, hey, you have to do 20 pieces of content this week and you have to cook and I have to write a bunch of scripts for you to make content that I don't personally enjoy on a creative level. So really, again, I'm rambling here, but it's really much more of a personal, like creative, I'm not going to say spiritual because that's not right, but it's just on a different level than money. And I happen to also be in the very fortunate position of like, because I made so much money, I'm very financially stable and I can walk away from $1 million a year or more. A, with the confidence that I'll do it doing something else. And then also B, with the liberty of not being like at risk of financial ruin or something. Like I live very humbly. I don't spend my money really. And so I can live a very long time based on what I've made without having to work or without having the fear of, being in like financial ruin or something like that, which also allows me to just interact with people more freely. Anyways, I'm definitely rambling now. This is definitely getting woo-woo. I understand that not everybody's in that position, but I was lucky enough to be in that position, and so that is why I wanted to switch to teaching. I just enjoy it so much more. I'm going to take a break from talking and look at chat for a second. Yeah, it must be something that you can obsess over. That obsession creates effortless action. Agreed 100%. Okay, next question. What made you want to create a whole course? What was the motivation behind it? Pretty simple, actually. It's pretty related to the last question. Excuse me. Basically, I quit management last September. I got into consulting, and there was an extraordinary amount of demand for consulting, way more than I expected. I thought the business, excuse me again, I'm a little gassy, hiccupy. I thought the business was going to take way longer to take off than it did. I thought that I would have to get like 5,000 YouTube subscribers before anybody would really take me seriously. I was prepared to put like a year of work into this before I ever made any money, but the consulting clients started coming right away, which surprised me. And I also got referrals from the people that I had consulted with, which indicated to me that I was doing something of value or creating win-wins, whatever you want to call it. So after a few months of consulting, I realized the backlog started to grow and grow and grow. And right now there's 80 people that are waiting to hear back from me about consulting. On a personal level, it's kind of a lot of pressure. just in terms of like, I want to deliver a really high quality product. And so I'm very selective about who I take on for consulting because I want to make sure that they're getting their money's worth. My whole thing with every product that I build, every service that I offer, it's just a personal thing for me. My objective, my sort of quiet goal is for whatever you pay me for, you should make 10 times that amount of money. That's my goal, right? So for instance, with this course, I fully expect that if somebody watches this course start to finish, that $3,000 is going to turn into $30,000 easily. That's my minimum, right? That's if I didn't do that, I fucked you a little bit. So, so the thing about doing that with consulting is that not everybody is in a position to take advantage of that service because maybe they just don't have the underlying knowledge. And if you're paying $7,500, my consulting rate is $7,500. My basic package is $7,500 for a 90-minute phone call. A lot happens on that phone call, and I do a fuck ton of research and prep, and there's a bunch of other deliverables that are associated with that phone call. But at the end of the day, you're paying almost $10,000 for a 90-minute phone call. It better be a really good fucking phone call. That's my feeling, right? I know that I can't do that with everybody. What I wanted was to create a product where I can teach you everything that I would give a consulting client, but not be constrained to a 90-minute phone call. You can go through it at your own pace, on your own time. It contains all of the information. It even contains most of the deliverables that I give consulting clients. It's self-serve, right? So that was why I wanted to create the course. There's no way that I can service all of the consulting clients. Not everybody wants consulting, but I think that I have really valuable information. I share a lot of it for free on YouTube. People seem to be very receptive to it. What I wanted to do was create a rigorous, structured curriculum that was based around everything that I know, so that rather than watching a series of disjointed YouTube videos that I have to like put a lot of other stuff into, like I have to make them more accessible, rather than do all that, you can just buy the course, get the exact information that you need, and then have everything that you need to implement it immediately built in with the course. So that was why I wanted to create the course. Basically, I just can't service that much demand for consulting. And I wanted to make something for people that were either not in a position financially or operationally to take advantage of that consulting service. And I know that the demand was there. So I was like, well, I don't really want to be a course pro. I want to do this the right way. And I think I've done it. I hope. I hope that I've set a really fucking high bar for every other OFM course forever. And I believe that I have, but whoever buys it will have to be the judge of that. Oh, God damn it. Again. Okay. So I just can't click on the screen. That's the thing, guys. I just can't click on the screen anywhere except for there. Yeah, the raccoon. This is live. You're hearing me live, guys. Hiya. Can I get the camera to focus on my fingers? Let me see. At the A7R5 over here. No, I can't. Okay. Hi, everybody. Having a little too much fun here. Okay. Curious about your background before OF management. What were you doing professionally before all this? Good question. So I'm going to try to not dox myself here. My background is in stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with OnlyFans management. Hold on. I'm going to do this one. Hiya. Okay. Sorry, I'm just shuffling a couple things around really quick. I'm going to hide you. 1 sec. Sorry for the wait, guys. Okay, there we go. All right, just had to fix a couple things really quick. So background before OnlyFans management. You guys are asking a lot of, I'm surprised at the amount of like kind of personal questions, but I appreciate it. Again, trying not to dox myself. Basically, I did business development and marketing. No, I'll start from the beginning, I guess. I was an industrial engineer and operations manager for a very large logistics company for several years, and I really loved that kind of work. I love engineering. I love just industrial ops in general is really exciting. You're just running, it's sort of the opposite of like online business. There were days where I was probably running like 10 to 15 miles a day, just doing my job. Massive facility, sort of running back and forth, end to end, putting out fires all day, really exciting. The environment's exciting. People are getting like, it sounds fucked up, but it's like people are getting hurt. I watched a lady get degloved. Not that that's good, but it's just like an environment where like dangerous shit can happen, and there's something about that I really like. So yeah, I really enjoyed that line of work. Never thought that I would get into this. Some personal stuff happened, and I thought I would be doing that kind of work forever, and I kind of got into startups. And so from there, I worked for a couple of technology startups, again, mostly in business development and marketing. And that's where I picked up a lot of the kind of like I've been doing design since I was very young. Like I started doing graphic design when I was probably 13 or 14. So I've always been interested in the aesthetic side of things and the commercial application of aesthetics. But I didn't really get to exercise that at a professional level until much later in life. So business development, creative marketing, managed big marketing teams for large tech companies, and sort of like by happenstance, unless somebody asks, I'm not going to get into the whole story, got into OnlyFans management, ended up being pretty good at it, making a lot of money very quickly, a lot of funny stories along the way. One that I like to tell is, I'm rambling. I'll go to the next question. I'll tell it later. Let's see. Yeah, engineer to OFM pipeline is real, yeah, for sure. E50. Yeah, I worked in a missile factory. There you go, dude. Yeah, engineer to OFM pipeline. I guess it's a real thing. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? We could be out there curing cancer or something. Okay. Bonk. Love this username. From Bonk. Bonk asks, in regard to AI companion sites, what seems best? Oh, you guys want the story? Okay. The funny story is that I didn't know, when I got into OnlyFans management, I didn't fucking know anything. I didn't know the industry existed at all, because I just sort of got into it by accident. And so it was really just figuring everything out from first principles. I got my first creator to, I don't remember the exact number. It was between 60 and 90K. It's it's either 60 or 90K. I'm just gonna say it's 60K because whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. I got her to 60K a month before I knew what chatting was. So we had this really sophisticated like order taking system for PPVs, and we were producing a fuck ton of PPV content. Didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what a script was, didn't know what chatting was. So we got that creator to, again, it was either 60 or 90K a month just on PPV sales through this weird order taking system. That's, I guess, where the engineering background comes into play. And then we discovered chatting, and I sort of like by accident found, I think Shane Carroll Francis was my introduction to OFM. So I was doing OFM for probably a year before I knew what that OFM existed. Like I thought it was like I didn't think that I had invented it or anything like that. Like I knew that people were doing something like it, but I was like, oh, it's so niche, there can't possibly be a blueprint or any like community for it. So I just figured everything out through trial and error, and ended up scaling a creator quite large before I knew the most fundamental thing about the business, which is chatting. When we introduced chatting, her page went from, it was again either 60 or 90K immediately to like 120K on the first month. And then, all the way up to over $300,000 a month from there very quickly. But it's just like, it's so funny to think about, like I could have probably made her another $1 million if I just knew what chatting was. I was just so fucking stupid. Oops, sorry, here we go. Nina, thank you very much. I'm hoping to set one hell of a bar for OFM courses and not just YouTube anymore. So we'll get into that in, let's call it 24 minutes. So I'll answer questions until 10 o'clock, and I'll give you guys a preview of the course. Yeah, chatting's huge. I mean, that is the distribution for us. And maybe, Nina, this is the person who was just talking. Do you think OF management is a long-term or like a long-term career or more of a window that's going to close eventually, trying to figure out if it's worth going all in? Shit, man. I don't think it's a long-term career. I think we've got 3 years, if that. And so there's a lot of money on the table to be picked up in those 3 years. A lot. And 3 years isn't a long time, but it kind of is a long time. That was a stupid way to say that, but I think what I mean is basically like, even if you don't make money in your first year at all, which you will, you have to be fucking retarded not to make money in OFM. It's not as easy as it used to be, but you've got to, it's not hard. You can make well over $1 million in 3 years, I think, even if you're not the best at it or like not the quickest to pick it up or whatever. So I don't think it's a long-term career, but it is worth going all in. So hopefully that answers your question. And yes, Chris Davis official, 100% or unofficial, sorry. I thought it was Chris Davison official. I'm so fucking stupid. I swear to God, I'm retarded, guys. Do not buy this course. I'm actually just ready. It's just gibberish. It's just like a kid fucking like face rolling on a keyboard. That's the whole course. I apologize. No, the skills that you learn, the skills that you gain absolutely will be. I made this course specifically, like everything that you learn in the course, it's applied specifically to OFM and it uses OFM specific examples. But the reality is that everything that you learn about developing your personal brand in the course will be also incredibly valuable for building a personal brand of any kind. And that's a whole basket of skills that basically every business person I think should understand. So whether you stay in OFM or not, the skills that I give you in the course will absolutely apply to way more than just OFM. So Chris Davis unofficial, I like that. I like that you said that. Very good. Kieran, we got to your question. Okay. Yeah, for another shout out to Kieran. This guy woke up at 2:30 a.m. to tune into this live stream. Absolute fucking animal. What are 3 things that an agency owner can do to create the best possible relationship between manager and model? That's a good question. 3 things specifically. Let me think on that. What was that? The bonk question was skipped accidentally? Shit, really? Did that happen? What was the... let me see. Good call out. I'll get... You know what? I'm just going to put that one next again. This is what I get for building all of this stuff yesterday. Q&A. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, where did Bonk's question go? What the hell? Oh, here we go. Okay. We're going to restore it and set it to next. Right? Whatever. I'll figure it out in a sec. God damn it. Okay, anyway. Whatever. What are 3 things that an agency owner can do to create the best possible relationship between manager and model? Okay. So I think the first thing is boundaries. Boundaries. Holy shit. I made the biggest mistake that I made in OFM, easily, just from a sanity perspective, not necessarily a business perspective, but from a sanity perspective, I should have just put distance between myself and the models immediately. I should have hired an account manager. I was really greedy. I wanted to keep my margins super fat, so I didn't want to hire super skilled people. Boy, was that fucking dumb. So the first thing that you want to do is you don't necessarily have to put people in between you and the model, but establish professional boundaries very quickly. There's guys in this industry who fuck their models. There's guys in this industry who date their models, like hire someone and then start dating them. I'm not passing judgment on anybody. Do what you got to do. Do what you feel is necessary. Live your life the way you want to live your life. But it just, from what I've seen, it ends so rancidly that it's just like you just never want to be in that situation. So establish boundaries very early on. This is a professional relationship. It's not okay to call me at 2 a.m. crying about your boyfriend. You know, even if there's nothing like necessarily inappropriate that's going on, it's just like you got to put boundaries up. It's important to any healthy relationship, really. Bonk, I'll get to your question. Don't worry. Or if E50 is bonk, I will get to your question. So boundaries first. Second is also weirdly like go above and beyond to demonstrate that you're invested in the relationship. Doing that while maintaining those boundaries with a person who is maybe not the most psychologically stable person who's ever fucking lived can be very difficult, extremely challenging. I struggled with it. But you also have to, like, the thing that you have to understand, and it's going to be unique person to person. I'm not saying this applies to every OnlyFans model or every woman or whatever, you know. I don't want things to be taken out of context here. Let's just say that women, generally speaking, are less motivated by money and more motivated by the emotional relationships and the depth of the emotional relationships and the quality of the emotional relationships in their lives. That is just, generally speaking, more motivating and more intrinsically valuable to women. That's not to say that there aren't women that are money motivated. And it's not to say that OnlyFans models like don't care about money. Of course they do. They wouldn't be doing this job otherwise. But in terms of like, you as a business person are inclined to think, I will do whatever is necessary in service of the money. That's not how the model thinks at all. The model will walk away if, again, I'm generalizing here. The model will walk away if she's unhappy with you as a manager, even if you're making her a fuck ton of money. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen more times than I can count. I've seen models that came from nothing. Their agencies got them up to 600, 700K a month, and they fucking walked away because they were unhappy with the state of the personal relationship. Understanding what motivates people is much deeper than money, and you have to have that skill in order to effectively maintain relationships with emotionally volatile people. That's one of the reasons I quit the business. Like, it's a real fucking thing. I could do it. I was very good at it, but it exhausted me in a way that is hard to put words to. I've worked 12-hour days in physical labor jobs and come home less tired than a 4-hour shoot with a model that I just wanted to be absolutely fucking nowhere near. So, boundaries first. Respect the personal relationship, invest in the personal relationship, make them feel taken care of, but do it in a way that's professional. Hard balance. Third thing would be, that's a good one. I mean, those are two pretty all-encompassing things, I feel like. What's the third thing? Josh Animations, I was able to I could have hired an account manager if I had done it early on, but it was at a point in the relationship, it was like 3 years in, where to do that would have been taken as a slight by the model and it would have ended the relationship. It was like that. So, yeah, it would be like, I don't know, let's say that you have like a cousin that you really hate or something like that. And you have to see them at family reunions and you're like, God, I have to be around that person. It was like that, 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week. Not great. So what are 3 things an agency owner can do to generate? Oh, no, sorry. The third thing. Fuck, man. IDK XD? Is that an acceptable answer? What is the third thing? Oh, you know what? Here's a good one. Make sure that the model knows what you're doing. Like, make sure that she understands the value that you're putting on the table. Even if she doesn't understand it at a mechanical level, just produce a weekly report or something, or a bi-weekly report. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be really simple. It can be very plug and play. But have a bi-weekly report for the model that says, hey, this is what we've been doing for you. Here's what's working. Here's what's like not working. Here's what we're kind of tweaking. Give them a sense of how invested you are, not just in both as a person and on the business end. They might not understand half of what you're saying, but you're making it very clear to them that you're providing a valuable service. It's more valuable, actually, if they don't understand what you're saying in some extent. I'm not saying lie to them, by the way. Don't do that. But also, like, explained it in a robust and clear way as though they were a business person. And I think that you'll find that when you're demonstrating your value to somebody and you're like making it really clear, you're putting in front of their face, they're going to recognize that. Just don't do it in a way that's like, rubbing their noses in it or something, but just make it like hey, something that we do at our agency is we give our models a bi-weekly report, explaining, just being professional, making it clear that you are providing a valuable service to the model that she can't do herself. That's also going to increase your retention, reduce your churn. So you're saying being an OFM manager can make you not like girls and become gay. You and your bro creating an OFM empire. If only it were so simple. If that's how you took it, live your best life, King. I hope you do that. God fucking damn it, this thing is so twitchy. There we go. Okay, wait. I'm going to try to find Bonk's question now. I don't want to fuck over Bonk. Because he's got such a cool name. Where the fuck did you go, Bonk? Where did you fucking go, Bonk? There we go. Okay, set active. Okay. All right. I'm glad you were satisfied with the answers. Bonk asks, in regard to AI companion sites, what seems best? AI girlfriends that are the character of already established porns. Oh, okay. Oaf Girl's original characters or characters that the user is able to create themselves. Janitor AI, Candy AI have original characters, but would you happen to know if they generate profit or if they're just burning money with AI compute? What are the industry's thoughts on these sites? Complicated, multifaceted question, but I love the topic, so totally down to talk about it. Give me 1 sec. My throat is starting to hurt from talking so much. I might actually have... Okay. I'm requesting a cough drop from my mommy. So, the answer here is... Well, you're asking like 4 different questions. God damn it. Okay. I'm trying to think. I'm holding in my shit to watch this live stream. Go shit, dude. It's fine. Go take a shit. Don't shit your pants, please. Not on my behalf. I tend to think, Bonk, that I kind of want to explain some of this. For those of you that are not familiar with what he's talking about AI companion sites. These are websites where it's kind of like an AI, I don't know, like a sexy... It's like if you were subscribed to every OnlyFans account, basically. And you can talk. E50, I have a ton of questions left. E50, since you're in the chat asking, just tell me what the name that you submitted with is in the chat, and I will find your question. Okay, back to Bonk's question, though. So, AI companion sites, very compelling adult product. I think that this is the direction that the industry is going to move in. But to answer Bonk's question, I think that original characters and user-created characters are going to be the best things. I don't think anybody cares that much. Like, why would I care about, I don't know, I can... who's an actress that's hot? I can fuck Megan Fox or whatever, right? Like, do I care that I am fucking like a fake version of Megan Fox, or would I rather just create my own character that looks exactly how I want them to, does exactly what I want them to, behaves in the manner that I want them to, will fulfill every sexual fetish that I have, that I can completely customize to myself? I can have one of them. I can have 500 of them. They can be, a trans girl or a dinosaur or a fucking ghost, like whatever I want them to be. That's obviously going to be a way more compelling product to a huge number of people. The level of novelty, the level of specificity, it's just so far superior to any other like pornographic product that has ever existed prior. These things are going to fucking print money. Some of them already are. Some of them are doing a few million a month. I know this for a fact. I think Candy AI, last I heard, and this was a while ago, they were doing around $5 million a month. They have costs, obviously, but I think that is a very nascent market with unlimited potential. I work am very familiar with one of the Candy AI's competitors. It's called secretdesires.ai. Phenomenal product. CEO is a great guy. But yeah, these websites are absolutely going to fucking print. Trans Ghost, exactly. I think that an AI companion site would be a very strong play right now, but that is not a side project, brother. That is a full-time job. The technical back end of these sites is nightmarish. You're talking about managing prospectively millions of concurrent chatbots. So your server, like, you have to have a pretty sophisticated tech infrastructure to support that, because it's so many contextually sensitive, like these are all basically API credits that are being consumed every single action on the site. So you're going to incur a lot of tech debt if you want to build one of these products. It's going to be difficult, but yeah, it's going to fucking print money. These things are going to be absolute insano. Every gooner is going to hop on one of these. It's just a dramatically superior product to OnlyFans in every conceivable way. And I just don't think that many people are going to give a shit that it's AI. And I think a lot of people, more than you would suspect, perhaps even a majority, will prefer that it is AI. I think we are moving rapidly towards a world removed of sex with physical bodies. The shit is no joke, friendos. So yeah, I think that these are great investments. If you're able to invest in or build one or be a part of the team of one, I would highly recommend that you do so. I'm a programmer by profession, engineer to OFM pipeline is so real, and I was thinking about building out something like this. You definitely should. You definitely should. Jason, okay. E50 is Jason. I don't even see a Jason in here. So you must have submitted. Hold on, I'll try to find your thing, you fucker. Just because you're asking so nicely. Okay, Jason. Oh my god, so many people have submitted questions. Fuck me. Oh, I'm not going to put your thing up because it's a huge pain in the ass, but Jason asked, god damn it. Hold on, let me just, this is pretty similar to what I just answered. So I'm just going to say yes, full AI models are absolutely viable. But I think that the people, you would much rather push them towards your own platform than rely on an OnlyFans or a FanView or whatever. Like those monetization platforms exist. They have network effects. People will click the link. That's all great. That's all well and good. But I think that yes, full AI OFM is a thing right now. But I think that the long-term play with AI UGC is you want to create the platform that people are spending the money on, which is why I'm so bullish on these products. Yeah, it is going to be crazy to see where the world is at in 10 years. And Josh Animations, that's fucking spot on. For real, better to be rich in 10 years than not, though. Spot on, brother. Gotta get ahead now. Okay, we answered this already. Okay, Oliver asks, how are you implementing AI into your content strategy, and what do you think of hybrid AI models? So I use AI daily, mostly for operations stuff. I am building creative tools. I have used a few, but in terms of like, it's just asset generation for me right now. So images for thumbnails, images or reference photos for the course, stuff like visual enhancements and graphics for my videos. Most of the course was built with AI, but I don't think that's really what you're asking. So what do I think of hybrid AI models? They're great. You just need a good, it's a good base. It's easier to create the content with hybrid stuff right now. So as long as you've got a good base, I think hybrid AI models are great. I think it's soon we'll get to the point where the full AI stuff is more compelling, but I think hybrid's a little bit better right now. And my understanding is it's a lot easier to produce. My hero, thank you. My throat is getting sore, so my lovely fiance brought me some hot water with honey. She is a treasure. Oops, my camera got jostled. There we go. God damn it again. Okay, there we go. Yeah, my totally real fiance that is a girl. She goes to another school. You wouldn't know her. So don't worry about it. She's real. I'm just not I didn't just go get myself hot water with honey. I promise. I'm not gay. AI gonna take over the world? Yes. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Oliver. Yeah, she's the goat. Hot water with honey is the plan. Are there any useful applications for agentic AI and automation in OFM? Are we close to no longer needing VAs? Huh. Are there any useful applications for agentic AI? Fuck yeah, brother. Holy shit, man. You can build custom software that's bespoke to your business in English. Do you speak English? Can you type? Do you have functional fingers with which to type or a voice with which to talk? Congratulations, you're now a software engineer. Build whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, these things are incredible, man. I had this fantasy as a child of, I loved painting as a kid. I thought I was going to be a painter. And I've always loved design. And I realized one day, pretty young, that if I wanted to get as good at painting as I wanted to be, I would have to dedicate the rest of my life to it. And that sucked. I think something about that really stuck with me. And so what I imagine, you know, as a kid, you like fantasize like, oh, if only there were a solution to this problem, right? I was probably 10 or 11 having these thoughts. And it was like, I thought of like having a magic paintbrush that like I could just, whatever image that I had in my mind, I could translate it to the canvas flawlessly. That's what agentic AI is. And agentic AI is the magic paintbrush, because now you can do that. Now you can say, you can roughly describe that the thing what you want is. You can say, ask me a few clarifying questions so that I understand like that we're communicating about this correctly and that you understand my demands. And then it will just build it for you in 10 minutes. This presentation that you're seeing right now this is coded. There's some relatively complicated elements here. There's like a backfeed system that you guys can't see, like a pretty complicated setting. This is custom software that I made so I could do this presentation and it looks a little bit nicer. That's like a pretty shallow use case, right? But like you can see, I have no technical ability whatsoever. I'm not a software engineer. I've written very few lines of code in my life. And this stuff is just like, it's unbelievable. So you can build custom CRMs, you can build automated workflows, whatever. The sky's the limit. Your creativity is the limit. Everybody that's in this chat, like if you take nothing away from this and you never buy the course and you never watch another one of my videos, start playing around with agentic AI today. This stuff is fucking incredible. Like pay for it. Pay a couple $100 a month for it. Pay $500 a month to like make mistakes and fuck up and learn how not to use it. It's worth it. Like it's so fucking worth it. So yeah. Are we close to no longer needing VAs? Probably for a lot of things, but I don't feel quite as... I'm going to actually say yes. As a person that never used VAs really heavily, what I know from people who do heavily utilize virtual assistants is that like most of what they do can be automated, and agentic AI will allow you to automate it very easily and very cheaply. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Next question. Oh, Zoe left. All right, man. 4 a.m. Good Lord. Sleep tight. Oh, fuck yeah. The honey water. It's doing me right. It's doing me so right. Okay. I'm going to do, sorry, Sam. This is a complicated question. I want to skip to something a little bit simpler because we're about to step over to the other thing. We talked about this already, actually. Multiple VA, let's see. No, I want a really good one. Hold on, let me look through the... Oh, you know what? This is an easy one. Here we go. Just for time. So how exactly do you view the trust score on Instagram for your account? Is there a website? What is the best CTA do you recommend now? Link in bio, which one, or just in highlights? Okay, so of course I picked one that's 20 fucking questions. I'm going to answer them one by one. How exactly do you view the trust score on IG for your account? You can't. It's an invisible metric. They don't allow you to track it. That's obviously intentional because then people would be able to actually reverse engineer how trust score is generated and game it and cheat it. So it's a hidden metric. You can't view it, which is annoying because it means that you aren't always going to know immediately when an account is cooked and you might invest time into it or something like that. But your goal is to maximize it. That's really all that matters when it comes to account creation. So, hey, for guys that ask questions, don't worry. I'm gonna answer more questions later. I'm gonna do a quick kind of run through of the course, a quick overview. Then I'm gonna do some Instagram reviews, and then I'm gonna come back to questions later in the stream. So, a lot of you have submitted questions during the stream, and it's actually really hard to track those, just because of the way that I have this set up. It's a totally separate interface. So I'm gonna approve a couple right now. Let me see something really quick. Okay. All right. I got some new approvals. Here we go. Okay. So trust score, yeah, not a visible metric. Best CTA is niche specific called. There is no best. So I like this question because I think that this is like a common misconception just about how people think about social media. There is no best anything. There is no best, like, to do this correctly, you have to do it contextually. Meaning that you're going to have to make specific decisions that are unique to the creator in order to reinforce the brand. So like the best CTA, there's no such thing as a best CTA, like follow me or like follow me now, or, you know, different intonations, or the idea that there's a single best CTA is wrong. The best CTA is the one that gets you the outcome that you want. So figure out what your desired outcome is, and sort of reverse engineer it from that. If I want people to follow me, then the CTA is going to be some niche specific clever way to say follow me without actually saying it. Like, you want implicit CTAs. You want it to be subtle and craftsman-like. So link in bio, which one? Don't have a good answer for that. Actually, right now, for safety, it seems to be the case that the best link in bios are self-hosted with dynamic JavaScript elements. I don't know for how long that will be true. This is like, everything's in flux right now. So like, don't take my word as gospel. That's just my understanding of what's best from a lot of people that I've spoken to. That's working for them right now. Can't promise it'll work forever. So self-hosted landing page with dynamic JavaScript links. The reason for that is because Meta does not currently, will probably at some point in the future, but currently does not crawl or is not able to crawl JavaScript native links. As soon as they add that functionality, it's going to be back to square one. But for now, that seems to work. So what's the exact setup that works right now? I'm not sure what you mean by setup. Don't have a strong opinion on phone farms. Opinion on Cupid, I'm not sure what that is. And mother slave method, I think, is very outdated. You don't want to do mother slave. Mother slave worked at a time when you could just be spoofing and repurposing a bunch of dog shit content on 500 accounts and it would actually fucking do something. Those times are over. Done. Goodbye. I'm not there anymore. So, mother slave is not the way to go. My personal recommendation, I don't know how you run your agency. You could be horizontal. You could be doing salary model, like LATAM salary models. I don't know, right? But if I'm you and I'm running OFM in like a vertically scaling and I'm investing in individual models, you should just be having them create as much original niched content as possible at a certain standard of quality, and then expanding. As you're able to expand volume, you expand with accounts, but you don't have one main account and 100 slave accounts or whatever that are all just like feeding into each other and making the same content. You want it to feel real. That's the whole point. So that's what the industry is moving towards. That's what I recommend. And it is now time to actually look at the course. So I'm going to change the music because we've been looping this for the last hour. Let me find something dope that's not super distracting. How about this? Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right, back to OBS. Open this. Let's see if I can do this without fucking everything up. There we go. All right, perfect. So this is the course, guys. So give me 1 second. Wait, hold on. Let me see something really quick. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, guys. Not an emergency or anything, just... Okay, welcome to $1 Million Brands, Organic Social for OnlyFans. This is the course, guys. So, the way that this is structured, how many hours total do I think I put into the course? Let me do the math really quick on that. I've been working on this, let's call it 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for, 4, 8, 12, let's call it 16 weeks. 1,152 hours roughly into this course. And that's not counting like, Well, no, it's counting writing. That's counting writing as well. Yeah. So let's call it a little over 1,000 hours into this course probably. Now it's not 1,000 hours of content. Don't worry. I'm not selling you guys a fucking 1,000 hours of content. But the base is these modules over here. So we have 5 chapters. And the course is designed in such a way as to take you basically start to finish from I know absolutely nothing about organic social or even what the term organic social means to I can create a personal brand for an OnlyFans creator that is capable of making 6 figures or more a month. That's the goal with the course. This contains all of the skills that you need to do that. What I can't promise you that you're going to do that, obviously, like there's so much, I can't handle the execution for you, but in terms of all of the foundational knowledge that is required, this course gives you everything you need to know in order to do that. Absolutely everything. I made sure of that. So it's broken up into 5 chapters. So we have Foundations, which is just an introduction to the course, nothing super fancy, right? It's just a welcome. I explain the course structure, I explain what organic marketing is, and I explain how social media algorithms work so that you can exploit them. Then we have brand and psychology. So this is when things start to get a little bit more serious. This is everything that I know, and not everything that I know, everything that I know in as actionable and concise a way as possible. I think you guys know that I tend to get a little bit long-winded. I wanted people to be able to, I wanted to put some personality into the course, but this is a little bit more serious in tone than I would say my YouTube videos are. I still crack jokes and it's still, fun and entertaining and engaging, but I also wanted to make sure that things were concise so that you're not spending, this is business. This is practical, applicable business advice. Like I want you guys to be able to use it right away. Not have to listen to me, wax poetic about Camila Araujo's butthole or something. Ha ha ha, funny joke. Anyways, brand and psychology. So we start with an explanation of the parasocial pipeline, which is like the kind of the psychological framework that I've built for fans, for understanding how people actually move from I'm watching your content to I am purchasing your content. And I explain what a brand actually is. I explain how to develop the perfect audience avatar, identify who your best target audience is, and how to select a niche that comports with that audience. Content formats. So this is like the templates for the actual content that you're going to create. Understanding the visual, audio, and personality components of building a personal brand. And then the final exercise is a full walkthrough of the brand blueprint workbook, which is right here. This is another really cool tool. I'm going to get into this in just a second. But the final walkthrough of this, the final lesson in chapter 2 is a walkthrough of that exercise, which is going to become the base for the brand of every single creator that you work with moving forward. So this is a game changer. I guess I'll explain it right now. So basically this is like this takes about an hour to complete. Okay. It's a serious exercise. So don't fuck around, take it seriously, because what you put into this is going to be the basis for your model's brand. And you can do this for every model that you manage. It's going to talk about what the model's objectives are, what like her financial goals are, what you actually want to accomplish with the content, her niche, how to make the model more recognizable, give your audience visual and auditory and other types of context to really reinforce the brand, how to develop a personality for the model, how to tell a story, how to tell stories that are related to the model, and like where your content is going to be distributed and what it actually looks like. And then that's going to spit out this brand card, which is a downloadable PDF. And it's really detailed. Hold on. Let me see if I can show you actually what this looks like. I should be able to. Oops, hold on. So it's going to have all of this information, obviously pretend like it's actually filled out. And then at the very end, it gives you research prompts that have already filled in the information that's necessary here. So whatever your niche is, whatever your audience avatar is, that will help you, and an action plan so you know exactly what to do once the brand is built. So this is, in my opinion, kind of the core of the course. I think this is one of the cooler things that I've built. This is going to be really, really valuable to you guys. So then we have technical foundations. This is kind of the boring, not so sexy stuff. This is going to cover everything from account creation and warm up to audience demographics. So understanding just everything to do with actual social media accounts, how to avoid getting banned, how to deal with bans, social media performance, like measuring metrics, like the metrics that actually matter for measuring performance. It's not views and followers. Shocker, I know. There's actually way better, more important metrics that you need to be hitting that are going to be way better proxies for revenue, which is what we care about. We're business, like views and followers don't bring the bucks in, right? So, leading creative teams, building creative teams, all this fun stuff, or like not so fun stuff. Content creation. So this is when we actually start talking about the pre-production tasks, writing scripts, what a good hook actually looks like. This is not like, hey guys, these are 10 viral reels. You copy them and you're going to get 1 million views. That's how social media works. I'm fucking retarded, by the way. It's not that. This is going to teach you how to construct a hook from first principles, so that you can write compelling hooks for your creators, no matter what niche they're in, that actually fucking work every time, and you're not relying on trends or copying content from other people, which doesn't fucking work anymore. So really powerful stuff here. And then a lot of people struggle with like ideation, I think. This is one of the biggest complaints that I get with my consulting clients is like, I'm not very creative. One second. Okay, no worries. Here we go. So basically how to never run out of ideas, how to actually write scripts for socials, and then composition. These are some of my favorite lessons, actually. There's like a bunch of like photo examples of like how to do good lighting and what like how the correct shots and angles for your shoot. These are really fun in my opinion, and something that I like as an aspiring filmmaker that I pay a lot of attention to. Lighting is one of those things that will just like unbelievably level up your content if you even a little bit know what you're doing. Okay. And then finally, we have post-production. So you're going to get like a file management workflow that's going to be really valuable to you in terms of as you start creating content, you need to know what the fuck to do with it, right? Like all that content has to live somewhere, and there's really easy things that you can fuck up and leave a bunch of money on the table that you're probably not even aware of. And there's also ways to pick up a fuck ton of money on the table. This is a surprisingly, I think a lot of people will be inclined to skip this chapter or something. This is one of those chapters that like sneakily might be one of the more valuable ones, specifically because of the file management system that I use, and how it reuses content. So this is a big one, and then the rest is all about video editing. So basically it's not like a full editing guide. I just want to be super transparent here. This is not like how to be a CapCut Pro in 20 minutes or something like that. It's all of the principles, but it's not the actual technical skill. There's a gazillion YouTube tutorials on stuff like that. I would love to do something like that. The problem is that it's just like not right for this course. And like it sort of deserves, editing is just such a complex craft. It really deserves a course of its own. I didn't want to do it the injustice of like trying to cram it into this and nobody watches it or something like that, right? Because they just hire a video editor, which is what most people should fucking do anyway. So just the foundations, the stuff that you'll actually need to know as a creative director, not just as an editor. And then bringing it all together, we have a full end-to-end. I go through the brand blueprint exercise with a creator, and then I edit a bunch of pieces of content for her, so you can see what all of these principles look like in practice. And I did that in a way that specifically that's like super accessible. I didn't go like, I'm absolutely crazy bullshit, like shot with a fucking, $6,000 camera. Like I made it look like something that you could actually build and not be like, oh fuck, that's how good it has to be. Like showing you content that performs really well, that's really easy to make. So that is the course. That's the actual modules part. Then there's going to be live sessions. So every month, I'm going to do she got me cough drops. Oh my God. You're a fucking saint, honey. Oh, she's stealing my dog though. What are you doing? Why was that so hard? I love you. My dog really wanted to hang out with you guys. She was like, I've never seen it do that before. My dog was hanging out in the office with me, and my fiance had to like fight her to get around the door. That's so fucking silly. Okay, anyways. So live sessions. Every month, I'm going to do a live webinar where I explain some element of the course in detail, and I'll be doing Q&As and reviews really similar to this, except you get a much higher likelihood of your question being answered, or I can prepare things in advance for people. And so these will be really useful and valuable. It'll be like a live Q&A about things that you've incorporated into the course. We can kind of make these whatever we want to. So this is like kind of like a quality time thing. And then, fiance, not a wife yet. Soon, but it is a pretty sick brag. If you don't have a wife, you should strongly consider it. If you can find a woman that's tolerable, full stop, you should marry her right away. I'm just kidding. I love women. Anyway, this I think is like one of the things that I'm the most proud of about the course is these companion tools. So the course, you have all these modules, right? The companion tools are associated with the modules, and they help you incorporate these into your business immediately. So for example, let's do, what's a good one? Niche Research Mega Tool. So this is like, this will basically, well, let's just do it. I'll just show you what it does, so it's easier than explaining. So let's say that we're in the gaming niche, the gaming category. We do Pokemon content, and we specifically do, let's call it Pokemon merchandise unboxing. By the way, this 3-tier framework, category, niche, sub-niche, I go really deep in this on the course. This is really important. But for now, I'm just going to show you what this thing does. We click Generate Niche Research Prompt, and it generates an unbelievably, you can feed this to an agent, you can feed this to an LLM of your choice. It will do extremely deep research and give you everything that you could possibly need to know about this category, this niche, and this sub-niche, and everything that you need from a competitive analysis perspective, from just like crushing it on creative perspective, and it's just boom, copy paste. So lots of really cool, hey Hayden, what's up? Drop a like, drop a sub. So yeah, this is, I think, one of the cooler tools. There's also just like there's some stuff that I just was kind of being goofy and having fun with. For the lighting course, or the lighting module, there's an actual lighting simulator. So you can simulate like what different lighting setups are going to look like. So you can move the key light around. I showed my friend this, and he was like, bro, you have to make it so the mannequin has tits. And I was like, you're so right. Like, so they're modular. If it's a guy, you can, remove them. And if it's not a guy, you can, kind of go to about here. It's goofy, it's silly, but some of this stuff I had to have a little bit of fun with. There were some long days working on this where I just needed to make myself laugh. So, hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys enjoy the funny little stuff that I included. But this actually is legitimately useful in terms of like, this will give you a really clear sense of, after you learn everything in the lighting section, what does that actually look like in practice? Like, you can kind of tell when this thing looks shitty versus like looks good. Like, I have way too much fill here. It's making it too flat across the face. I want a more dramatic shadow. I'm going to move the fill over here or over here. Let me tell you, brother, as somebody who owns probably $30,000 worth of lights, moving that shit around in real life is extremely difficult and fucking annoying. So being able to simulate it in this environment is surprisingly useful. Yo, my mannequin does do customs, bro. My mannequin will do whatever you want for whatever price you want. She is very inexpensive. Okay, so moving on. We also have the AI knowledge base. So this is for all of my more AI forward friends out there. This is a downloadable knowledge base. It's basically all of the information that's contained in the course as just a downloadable markdown file, and with instructions for your agent or custom GPT or whatever to ingest and basically have all of this information at your fingertips. So if you have a question, like let's say that you're like, I remember some important concept from module 3.5. I can't remember what it was, but it was really useful. You can just go and query your chatbot and be like, hey, what was that thing again? What's the right way to approach niche for a creator? You can ask it questions and it will actually fucking have that information for you instead of looking on Google and lying to you like a slut, which is what my ChatGPT does, which is why I don't use ChatGPT anymore. And then what do we have? We already did live sessions, so this will be really useful for a lot of people, I think. And then finally, we have the Telegram group. This will be a private group exclusively for people who have purchased the course. So as you can see, there's only 33 members right now. I anticipate this number growing. We've got some heavy hitters in here, I will tell you that. So we have Chatstar in there. We have a couple of really big independent creators in there. We've got some agencies that are doing high 6 and 7 figures in there. And we've got totally new, fresh guys. Everybody helps everybody. It's a really great environment. I'm super happy with how it's turned out and how people are interacting very respectfully. Everyone's very helpful. Everyone's kind of on the same page. We're all trying to grow as entrepreneurs. So I think that I get a lot of value, or people get a lot of value out of the free group. This is going to be probably like 100 times more valuable, just because of the quality of the people that are in it, and the quality of the depth that I'm able to give to responses, as opposed to trying to communicate a bunch of stuff to a free group, right? So the community, I think, is going to be a big part of this and a super high value part of this. So yeah, that's a broad overview of the course with a little kind of sneak peek at everything. There's obviously a lot more depth than that. Later in the live, we're going to go through one of these just so you can actually see what the course looks like. And the way that I've actually presented it. So these are basically like animated slides with cued audio and like sound effects and stuff. So it's not like a full video. If I had to do everything at the level of production that if I made every one of these like a YouTube video, this course would take like another year probably. So I had to come up with an alternative, but I think I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I think it suits this format really well. I hope that you guys will agree, and that you're not expecting like, full length YouTube videos for every single one of these modules, because there are a fucking lot of them. All right, it is now time for Instagram reviews. Oh, nope, wrong thing. We gotta go like this now. Yeah. So let me do that and that. There we go. Oops. Okay, now I have to find my Instagram tab. Can you guys tell how new I am at streaming? Okay, so I gotta find this person first. Hold on. Yeah, this is, I might have fucked myself a little bit with the complexity of this setup. Okay. Nope. No. We're here. We're good. I already had it open. We're looking for SusBW2. Here we go. And here we go. Okay. So, for those of you who are not familiar with this format or how I do this from other live streams, I do need a soundboard. I need a fucking stream deck, dude. So people have submitted Instagram pages for me to review, and some of them are agencies, some of them are creators. This is actually from the creator. So the creator wanted, she asked, her specific question was, I've been a creator for 4 years, but last year started to take things seriously. Right now, stuck at 3 to 5K per month, hoping to get to 10K a month this year. Struggling a lot with Instagram. So we are going to see if we can help Susan out. So the first thing that I'm going to do is come over here. We're going to see, okay, so she's had some relatively high performers, 270, 167. I can tell you already kind of what one of the problems is going to be, but let's compare this just on an eye level. We're going to get deeper on stats in a second, but what I like to do is see, okay, there's obviously a substantial decline in performance from this to this. Like, this is abysmal, right? She's got 23K followers, so I'm gonna explain VTFR in just a second. This is gonna be dip into some of what we talk about on the course. It looks like she's performing about at the level that you would expect for a creator of this size. So nothing spectacular, but nothing unhealthy that I'm seeing either. So let's confirm. I'm gonna guess that she has a VTFR, or view to follower ratio, on average over her last 60 days. Let's do 30 days, and I'm gonna say her VTFR is probably like 0.4 is going to be my guess. So let's see how good at napkin math I am. This is Statly. Very cool tool that was developed by an OFM. Hold on. Count. We want to do by count. I know there's a way to exclude. No? I guess not. Okay. I think that the pinned posts are going to skew results. Oh no, never mind. Okay, it's good. All right. 0.22. Okay, so that's about half of what I expected. So what we're seeing here, we're going to diagnose this on a data level first. So last 30 days, this account has gotten 148,000, or sorry, last 30 pieces of content. Sorry, I fucked this up. Let's do it by date. Yeah. I goofed, my bad. It's been a while since I've done these, so I'm a little bit rusty actually. All right, so KPIs. Can you guys see this okay, by the way? Hopefully you guys can see this okay. Let me know if not. Okay, so now we're up to a much healthier 286,000. Still a pretty bad VTFR. So view to follower ratio is significant for a couple of reasons. The first, I think VTFR is like the best like general account health metric. It stands for view to follower ratio. So basically the question that we're asking is it's the number of like the average views across the last 30 days divided by the number of followers. So we're looking for a ratio here, and this is basically on average, how many views does this get relative to her followers? A healthy number is 0.5 to 0.7 in my opinion. That should be like a benchmark. So wait, what's up? I'm literally going to give the course just to access the markdown files, bro. That shit made me salivate. What's the website URL? Okay, I'm not sure. Anyway, sorry, got distracted. The next thing that we're going to look at is high performance factor. This is the percentage of her reels that perform better than her following. So if she were to have a reel that has over 23,000 views, this number would increase. The higher the number of reels that breach that, the higher this number will be. This tells you how frequently you're posting bangers, which is also very important. So those are the two core metrics that we're going to evaluate this on. And on a data level, something bad is happening here, right? So the reason I'm going through this in such excruciating autistic detail is that you need to understand before you make any sort of assessment about somebody's Instagram page or the performance of their page, you need to understand how they're actually doing on a mathematical basis, right? You can't just like baselessly conjecture. If you look at somebody, and you have to do it on a relative basis. Sophie Rain has 8.5 million followers. She actually has a worse VTFR than this. It's really bad. So you might look at Sophie Rain's social media account and say she has 8.5 million followers. Like, her content must be amazing. She must be doing something really good. We all know her content's absolute dog shit. It performs like dog shit, but because she has 8.5 million followers and her strategy is all about being as broadly seen as possible, putting out an unbelievably high volume of content with absolutely no regard whatsoever as to quality, because she's sort of being astroturfed by a million different organizations and promoted in other ways. Sophie Rain, unironically, sucks at social media. If she did not have the network and what I should say is, Sophie Rain doesn't suck at social media. Her team is incredible at distributing the content, but they are terrible content creators. What works for Sophie Rain will not work for you. Anyways, all of that is an aside to say that basically there's something wrong with this account. We know this on a mathematical basis. This number, I would hope to see it at least like 10%. This number, I would hope to see it at least 0.5. So we're way off the mark. Let's figure out why. So I can tell you why basically right away, which is that all of this is like very low quality text over B-roll. It's just very basic generic content that you would expect from an OnlyFans creator, and it reads like OnlyFans creator content. What I see when I see this is someone who's running like the OnlyFans playbook. She sees what other creators are doing. And by the way, Susan, I am not dragging you at all. This is a super common mistake tons of people make. It's like, this is why I make this content, is to teach people how to avoid doing stuff like this. So absolutely no disrespect for you. Super like appreciate it takes courage to be like, hey, roast me in front of a live audience, and this will potentially be seen by thousands of people after the live link goes out and becomes a video or whatever. So I don't want you to think that I am like dragging you at all. I'm telling you this to help you. So what I will say is that you need to figure out what your niche actually is, because like none of this content is going to be appealing. It's the algorithm doesn't know who to serve this to. And that's why you're seeing this relatively poor performance. So I just made a really long video about this. But basically, at a mechanical level, what's happening here is your audience is getting served to a very small number of people. This is what happens with everybody's content. It gets served to a very small audience of people. Depending on how those people react to it, Instagram decides to serve it to more people. That's the most basic way to describe it. What's happening is Instagram's algorithm is testing your content. It's sending it to people, and they're saying, I don't like it. Don't send it. And the algorithm does not want to risk alienating users and serving them content that will not keep them on the platform. So they're not going to serve your content because it's the first group of people that saw it didn't like it. What your job is, especially as a small independent creator, is to figure out who your audience actually is. This is what the course is all about. This is like I'm giving you a really high level overview of everything that you're going to learn in the course and exactly how to do it. But at a very high level, you need to think about what your audience wants to watch. Who are the men that like you? You know, I'm sure that you know men in your life who like you. You know, like the type of man that's interested in you. What are the qualities that those men share? And I want you to think of like a specific person who has like pursued you or something like that. Like think of a specific, if you're with your boyfriend or whatever, like if you have a boyfriend or husband or whatever the case might be, or you have like, whatever, you've had presumably some sort of romantic relationship in your life at some point. Think about that person and what they liked about you. That's what you're selling to your audience. So right now, what I'm seeing is a very generic creator who is just recreating content that other people are making for a really broad audience. That's not going to work for you. You're not going to do well like that. What you need is to find your guys. Who are your guys? Who are the guys that like you? How do you talk to them? What do they like? Do they like, maybe they're into like trucks or mudding or outdoor stuff. I would imagine that you probably attract a more like blue collar type of man. Think about what those guys like. Think about what a very specific group of those guys like, and make sure that that intersects with what you know. So I'm not saying that you like know a bunch about long haul truck driving or something like that, but assuming that you did, and assuming that you knew those types of guys liked you, you should probably make some content that's going to be appealing to that audience. It doesn't necessarily have to be about trucking, but get creative. So that would be my recommendation to you. I'm not sure if you're watching right now or if you'll watch the live stream later or whatever, but that would be my recommendation, is spend some time thinking about what your audience, who your audience is, what they actually want to see, make that content, not generic content that you're copying from other OnlyFans creators. It's just not going to work for you. And it's not going to work for anybody anymore. So that would be my advice to you. Now, I'll move on to the next creator. Okay, we've got Fit and Avery. Let me do that. Fit and Avery. There we go. You must know your avatar, precisely. Let's take a sip of that honey water. Man, I hope my throat fucking survives until midnight. No homo. That did not sound good. Anyway, so we're looking at Fit and Avery now. This is, what was your note? This is my second AI model account that I've been building from scratch after watching your videos, taking notes, and trying to carve a social presence. Some of the reels are doing okay, but I'm not sure I'm on the right track here. All right. Yeah, AI girl. Okay. So what are we going to do first? We're going to look at the stats. I'm not going to make an assessment here because I think this is a new creator. So unfortunately, for an account that's only 3 weeks old, we're not going to get the most accurate statistical picture. Nonetheless, we shall endeavor. So let's do by date. Just open up this tab again. There we go. Okay. So we've got one strong outlier here at 212, 17, 15. So you've got a few decent sized outliers here. You're punching above your weight class. This is all good. I'm liking what I see here. I'm going to guess that you have like don't get a big head about this. You're really new. Like this is a very new creator. So stats are going to be skewed because there's just not that much data to sample from. But I'm going to guess that you have a VTFR of probably like 4 or 5 maybe, which is insane. Like if this was an established creator, 21, fart. Okay. Yeah, no, that's insane. But again, This is skewed by the fact that you have very few, a very small data set. So what I am seeing though is that your content is escaping containment. It's getting served to that first 200 people. They're liking what they see. And then it's getting served to that next 2,000 people. They're not liking what they see. So that's telling me that you're probably not sufficiently niched. And also from what I'm seeing, it's just very generic. Again, like Jim, not necessarily generic, like you're doing a good job in terms of making it visually interesting, but like, I want you to really, this is something that I want you guys to think about at a really deep level. Why are people watching your content? Give them a reason to watch your content. Like this, to me, and no disrespect to anybody that is, like not living in a first world country that might be listening, but this is like appealing to third worlders. It's appealing to people that are like, it's appealing to an unsophisticated audience. And when you make content for unsophisticated audiences, they tend to be really low quality customers. They tend to be low intent. They tend to be low LTV. And so what you're doing with this is you're telling a very simple story. And it's a story that's appealing to maybe, a decent number of people, but none of them are people that you want to attract. And if you told me what the demographic composition of this page was, I would guess that it is not mostly tier 1 countries. And I would guess that despite you getting a decent number of views on a lot of these, you're probably not making very much money, and probably very few of these people are converting. You don't have a link in bio yet, so that's also part of it. But so the problem here, let's actually watch one of these. Yeah, I mean, it's just a girl doing push-ups or pull-ups in a dress. What you're attracting is guys who are literally drooling, mouth-breathing Neanderthal retards who are watching this going, die, I hope it slips and I see her pussy on the camera. Right? That's the audience that you're attracting. Who is that? It's like, do you want retards as customers? Probably not. They're not great customers. I promise. So what you want to do with AI content or with any content is, again, you're identifying who your target audience is. So let's say that maybe, generously, that your audience is like men who are into fitness. Like watching someone do pull-ups isn't really a thing. That's not a niche. You know what I mean? So I want you to think about how to actually make this content interesting on another level. Something that challenges the viewers maybe. Maybe it's a pull-up contest. That makes it a little bit more engaging. You're attracting a more engaged audience who might be encouraged to engage with the content, and you might get a more sophisticated, higher quality audience and increase the number of views on the account because more people are going to like content that you've put a little bit more time and thought and effort into. So obviously, a lot of this stuff we go really deep on in the course, but at a high level, that's where I know this is very generalized advice, but like you don't need specific advice right now. You don't need me to tell you how to set up lighting. You need me to tell you how to make content. So again, no disrespect, really appreciate you submitting the content. I'm just being as honest as I possibly can be. Like you're getting a decent number of views on this stuff. Like it's working to some extent, but very little of that is translating into followership. And that's because this is really low intent content that's going to attract a low quality audience. So how do you level that up? That's what you need to think about. Like, what can I be doing within this? Like the visual element of it is good. Now let's make it a little bit more of a story. Let's make it something that's engaging, that people would actually want to watch, that a person with more than 4 fucking brain cells to rub together would want to watch. That's going to be the next step for you. 67% Indian audience. I rest my case. Winky Flex, that's pretty much exactly what the course is teaching you how to do that at a very, very high level if you're not creative, and then if you are creative, how to leverage that to the maximum. Yeah, the course does not require you to be like a creative genius. It teaches you the skills that you need to know in order to reproduce creativity. Okay, this is another, I'm giving preference here to, oopsies, nope. Okay, that's not the real promo code, guys. It's not the real promo code. Don't worry. You can use it if you want. It's been deactivated, motherfuckers. Oh my effing, okay, we're just gonna type this in manually. Sarah Diaries. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Okay, so we've got young female creator. Looks like she's relatively new, 7,000 followers. On a VTFR basis, her content is doing well. Let's try to figure out why that might be the case. I'm seeing a lot of personality here. I'm seeing a lot of face. Like I'm seeing a lot of, you can generally, I've done this so many times at this point that you can just generally tell when somebody has like at least an ounce of talent. So I can tell that you're actually thinking about some of this. You're actively trying to improve. Okay. So kudos to you on that. Let's look at your stats. And then we'll watch some reels. And I'll give you a better evaluation. But stats always come first. So last 30 days. All right, we've got some outliers. I'm not even going to make a guess this time because I've been so... Okay, 1.74 view to follower ratio. This is excellent. You're doing great. You've got enough data for me to say that. Like, not necessarily conclusively, but you've got enough data for me to say that, like, you're doing a good job. So you're doing something right. So what we're going to try to figure out once we get to the actual content evaluation part is where your outliers are and what precisely you're doing right and what you need to be doing more of. So 1.3 million across your last 30 days of content on 7,000 followers. That's phenomenal. Great job there. 1.74 view to follower ratio. Again, remember I said healthy is 0.5 to 0.7. So she's crushing it right now. This is beyond healthy. This is superb. So nice work there. And HPF, high performance rate, 50% of the content that she is posting is performing at a level above her follower count. These are all very, very strong indicators of a very healthy account and a content strategy that is at least somewhat working. So now, again, we're going to do an investigation on why it's working. So let's look at your biggest outlier here. I'm going to turn music off as well for just a sec. Can we hear this? No. So let me turn off music altogether, actually. Give me one sec. Here we go. And here we go. Okay, so hopefully this isn't black. Oh, it's just one of these. Okay. Well, that would explain why I did well. So this is going to be a thing that I say I'm going to advise that you do. I know it's performing well, and on a views basis, that seems good. Unfortunately, right now, especially, this is the type of shit that's going to get you banned. And again, this is like you're appealing to what you're making is content that's really appealing to a lower common denominator type of person. So I'm typically pretty against like any kind of like flash trendy, reveal-y type content like that. Let's see another one. Let's see if there's a trend here. And if the takeaway here, it very well may be the case that the takeaway here, guys, is that like sometimes things are performing well for the wrong reasons, and it's don't get sucked into that trap. So let's watch this.
What do you guys think of my new jeans? Cute, right? It's very Euro. Very fashionable.
Okay. So first of all, this is great. It's a little bit, and I'm gonna caveat that with a couple things. There's a lot about this to improve, but on a foundational principles level, this person has an intuitive sense of like how to be entertaining, if that makes sense. So like this is like not, I'm not gonna say this is a good piece of content, but it indicates an intuition that I think is really, really valuable, especially for independent creators. And if you have a creator that has good creative instincts or like knows how to act or just like be entertaining and engaging on camera, tremendous asset. So the first thing that I'm going to notice is this is actually like a really interesting visual hook of just like, you have belly button piercing, like shorts. It's an ultra, this is what you would call an extreme close-up on like a really unusual like part of the body. So this is going to be like a really strong pattern interrupt. And right away I'm saying like belly button, I can identify what this is. This is keeping me for the first few seconds, right? So, and it's not just keeping me like in a, like this is not just going to attract someone who's horny kind of way. It's like, why is this person's belly button in the camera? Like something interesting might be about to happen. So we can slow back away. Kind of looks like it's just going to be a standard showing off your figure kind of thing. She did it in sync with the music. Also notice that. So like watch the movement of her body in sync with the music in this beginning. I'm going to play this one more time. And like, this might sound weird, but this is the type of stuff that you have to get granular on. It's these tiny details that matter way more than you would think, especially in the first 3 seconds. Like when this is where you should be optimizing for retention. And it's so much easier if the model knows how to do that than like having to do it in every single edit of every single reel. So watch this again in sync with the music.
What do you guys think of my new jeans?
She starts talking right when the beat changes. She immediately engages the audience. What do you guys think of my new jeans? She's asking a direct question. So all this is happening within the first 3 seconds. This is a surprising, it's a subtle, it's not perfect, but it's a surprisingly effective hook because of the sort of like all of the elements that she's woven together, even though the hook itself as a spoken thing is not very strong of like, what do you guys think of my new jeans? Well, who fucking cares, right? But it's all of those elements together that make this more compelling, and it's part of the reason that this was an outlier. So let's continue. There's constant camera movement. You can see this in the edit. So it's like zooming in and out. So there's dynamic movement as she moves into and out of the camera. She's always moving. The camera's always moving. As a consequence, this seems like a much more cohesive, professional, well put together piece of content.
It's very Euro.
And it's like, the reason that I think this is so much better than the previous one is it's like a little bit, don't want to be disrespectful, but it's a little bit slutty. But it's like done in a way that's playful as opposed to just like being, I'm just going to say slutty. It's just the only word that I can think of right now. Like behaving sluttily for the sake of being slutty. This is more like, it feels a little bit more intimate. It's like I'm being like playful and flirty for you in particular. That reads in this piece of content because of the way that she is directing her attention towards the camera. She's talking directly to the camera as though it's a person, right? So if I'm the viewer and I'm a person that's attracted to her, I'm going to notice that, and that's going to make me feel something, right? So these are all like the subtle, it's all of these subtle details in the aggregate that help you sell this fantasy way more effectively. So let's watch one more reel just because I think this is a good example, a good little case study. And hold on, I'm going to answer what it got. Any case studies on a top tier example of people doing branded organic content well? In OnlyFans, few and far between. I'll show you somebody who I think does a really good job after this reel. And then I'll go back to reviews. And then I'll probably round things off with questions. The reviews are a little bit more tiring. Give me one sec. Man, what I want to know, how do people like piss on these like long, do people just walk away from their computer to piss on long live streams, or do you just hold it for 8 hours? Like the guys who are streaming all day, do they just walk away from the camera and just accept that they're going to hemorrhage viewers? Is that, or do they like bring their laptop into the bathroom? I don't watch live streams really, so I don't fucking know. Okay, last one from this creator. Okay, nothing super impressive here. This is just a pretty normal trend, so a little bit disappointing there. It's not surprising that this performed well. Calling a spade, this creator also has the advantage of like she looks very young, and there's just a lot of guys that are into that, right? So there's definitely always going to be like a hot girl bonus here that she's reaping the benefit of. Like this is a very popular, like guys are just into girls that look like this. It is what it is, right? So there's an advantage, there's an inherent advantage there, but she is taking a maximum advantage of that by actually engaging with the camera. And even though none of this content is great, like this could all be way, way better. And again, that's not no disrespect to the creator. There's just like, what I'm saying is that like you're already doing great. There's tremendous room for improvement. You've got a bright future if you continue to try to improve. Don't get stuck here would be my, whenever you watch this, if you're watching this, don't get stuck at this point in your kind of content creation journey. Seek to improve. Don't be satisfied with this. And I guarantee you that because you have that intuition and you've got the look, you are a 6-figure plus creator 100%. So stick at it, and best of luck to you. And hopefully I'll see you in the course. So let me go ahead and skip to, oh, that's right. I was going to show you a creator really quick. Not an OnlyFans creator, but I think that this girl does really good stuff. She is a true one of one. Nolican3342. If watch my video, the one with it's the, oh god, what is the title of the video? It's the one for beginners. Just watch the beginner video. Yes, OnlyFans is definitely still worth getting into now. Oh, Sarah, you were in here. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I hope you got a lot out of that. You're doing a great job for sure. So keep it up, but don't stop improving. And if you get into the course, you will learn an ungodly amount. You'll learn everything that you need to know to take your content to that next level. So would love to see you in there. God damn it, I keep doing this. And this creator is not an OnlyFans creator. But I think that her content is incredible. Let's see where she's doing on a stats basis. We do last 30 pieces because I think she posts less frequently. Or you know what? Fuck it. We'll just do last 60. This is a more established creator. She's been doing this for a few years. Yeah, fucking crazy. 2.24 view to follower ratio. This is so nuts. With a 54.5% high performance factor. This is on a creator with 500,000 followers. She's perfectly niched. She's one of one. Her content's fantastic. She's consistently crushing all of her metrics. Now, part of the reason that her content is good is because she puts a lot of time into it. I think that she posts less frequently. You wouldn't really be able to get away with this low of volume on an OnlyFans creator necessarily. Maybe that's not true, honestly, if you're doing this level of creativity. But I'm just going to show you, let's just see what her most, hold on, let's actually watch what her most viewed reel of all time is. So her whole thing is like, let me just do last 400. Her whole thing is like, she's this weird little autistic girl that talks about like fighter jets and like really obscure military equipment. She's very uniquely appealing to, she's not going to be every guy's girl. That's not the point, right? The best thing that you can do is be one of one, or even like she's created a niche, right? There was no demand. No one was like, I need a hot girl telling me about F-16s. Like no one sat there and thought that. Nobody was requesting that. She created demand for her product, which is her. Like, again, she doesn't do OnlyFans. She's just doing it for the love of the game, I think. If you can do this with an OnlyFans creator, by God, you would print. By God, you would make so much money. You'd be a millionaire inside of a year. If every OnlyFans creator was even half this like talented and creative and like willing to put the effort in and understood niche and brand as well as this creator does at an intuitive level, it would be like a 14 billion. It would be double. There'd be double the amount of money that's made on OnlyFans just if you were better at marketing. That's how crazy this stuff is. So let's see. Oops.
Blood today? Never again. Way too many questions. Whose blood is that? Where did you get it from? Why is it in a bucket? I tried donating
So
blood.
silly. Let's see another one. Let's try to find one that's actually in her niche.
Tires come with pre-installed GPS chips to track you on 5G networks. If you don't want to be tracked, just cut off the little antenna that sticks out. Did you know?
So I think a lot of her older content was also just like being creepy and doing like weird little bits like that. I really want to try to find one that's like where her current niche is. Lots of conspiracy theory stuff. Here we go.
Take away your fighter jet if they don't know you have one.
Yeah, like anime
Remember,
fighter
guys,
jet edits.
Can't take away your fighter jet
It's
if
just
they don't know
silly.
you have one.
But because of that, you can't find her content anywhere else. No one else is producing this content. So again, if she had an OnlyFans, she would have complete marketplace dominance of this category that she created. And if you're into that, you know, like if you happen to find that like, wow, I didn't know that I was into autistic girls who like Abrams tanks or whatever. Now you know you can't get that anywhere else. So creating demand is the most powerful thing that you can possibly do. In some sense, that is the nature of marketing. But this is a good creator, I think, to like kind of look at a really deep level and say like, why is this working so consistently? Even though it's just like weird, clearly not for everybody. It's way more valuable to have 100% of the market for a product that you created the demand for, even if her overall following isn't that large, she would be able to monetize this at infinitely more effectively than somebody who's really broadly targeted like Sophie Rain, whose entire thing is like, I need to get this in front of as many eyes as possible to try to convert a small number of those eyes. You would rather, and it's just more feasible, this is the level that more people can compete at, you would much rather have a small number of eyes that are only on you. So let's see, Goth Mommy Creator Hybrid. Let's go, hell yeah. We need more of you in the world. Okay. What was I gonna do again? Oh no, that was it. Okay, so now I'm gonna give my voice a break and probably take a piss also while I show you guys a module from the course. So you guys are gonna get to select. Give me 1 second here. We're going to turn on course again. We're going to turn off Instagram. Okay. Done with Instagram for now. We can hide you. Where the fuck is this thing? There we go. All right. So I'm going to leave. I feel like a substitute teacher. Okay, class, I'm going to put a movie on and take a nap. Good luck, man. If you can recreate her content with AI, I mean, you actually probably could really easily. And absolutely fucking print money. So never mind. Yeah, that probably is what people will do if they're smart. Go do that. Anyway, what pick a chapter. Pick a chapter. Or what do we want to do? Brand maybe? I feel like this is a good one to start on. Let me also make sure that the volume is on here. Where do we want to start? Anything calling your name? Post-production file structure? No, I do, like, it's an important one, but it's a little bit, it's not very sexy. I want to give you guys a good example of like what the course is all about. I think brand is a good one. That one's also kind of long, Chris. 14 slides. Maybe we do one of the lighting ones. Hooks, perhaps. There's some funny stuff in hooks. But you kind of need the preceding lessons. Okay. You know what? We're going to do brand. Is everybody ready? I'm going to put it on 1.25x. Or actually, I'll let it play it. I'm going to let it play at normal speed. All right. You guys are going to be some of the first people to see the course. So I'm going to let this play while I go briefly take a leak. The way that these work, I'm going to click start presentation, and then it's going to autoplay through the slides, and I'm going to be reading along in time with animations that are present on each slide. So enjoy.
What is a brand?
Can you guys hear okay, by the way, before I get up to take a piss, actually? Is that loud enough? Somebody say yes or no. I'm going to piss my pants. Was it loud enough, guys? Please tell me. I don't want to piss myself. I'm going to make pee-pee potty in my pants. Somebody say something, for the love of God. Okay, cool. Thanks. Oh.
By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to define brand, explain why brand is the #1 competitive differentiator in business, and identify the 3 components of brand with real-world examples. Here's something everyone knows, but nobody wants to say out loud. With few exceptions, every single OnlyFans creator has precisely the same offer. We all sell the illusion of intimacy with a creator, usually tied to sexting or adult content, and whether you're into big titty goth baddies or twink interior decorators, you are getting roughly the same experience on every OF page you subscribe to. Sure, there's variations in things like chat quality or the specific content available, but that's all invisible to the consumer until they have already spent money, so it doesn't really factor into the marketing conversation. If all of our offers are functionally identical, how do you convince people to purchase from you instead of the sea of other creators offering the exact same thing? Let's say you're at the supermarket looking for ketchup. You go to the condiments aisle and you're presented with no less than 10 different types of ketchup, all produced by different manufacturers. At the end of the day, ketchup is ketchup is ketchup. Unless you're a connoisseur, they're all going to taste like what they are, a sweet tomato slurry. So, how do you make the choice? Some people might go for the cheapest option. Other people might go for the most expensive option. Some people might only purchase ketchup that contains real sugar as opposed to high fructose corn syrup. But an overwhelming majority of people will make the choice based on brand. They're going to grab the Heinz because it's what they know. Heinz does not make the tastiest ketchup, the cheapest ketchup, or the healthiest ketchup. But 70% of all ketchup sold in the United States and over half of ketchup sold globally is produced by Heinz. That is the power of brand. Even in an industry as competitive and saturated as condiments, and in a sea of identical products, Heinz brand has given them an effective monopoly on the single most widely consumed condiment in the world. And as business owners, we should all aspire to become monopolies. Now we have to ask the question, what does brand mean for OnlyFans models specifically? The easiest way to define brand in the context of OnlyFans is a combination of three qualities: recognizability, association, and audience identity. Recognizability is simply, how quickly can I recognize the creator? When I say the words Coca-Cola, it literally conjures the image of the Coca-Cola logo in your head. You can't help but think of it. Red label, white cursive, maybe you think of your favorite Coke product. That is not an accident. Coca-Cola has spent the last 134 years blasting that logo on every surface they can, from cans and bottles to sports jerseys and TV screens, with the explicit goal of ensuring that the word Coca-Cola is etched into your soul. For OnlyFans creators, we don't have 100 years to establish our brand, but we need to approach with the same principles in mind. What visual or auditory cues can we use to enhance recognition of our brand? How do we make it so that the microsecond our audience sees one of our reels, they know it's our creator and they stop in their tracks? Association is the next layer. Recognition is necessary but insufficient for the establishment of a brand. You might be able to instantly identify the difference between concrete and dirt, but that recognition doesn't stir anything in you. You have no emotional response to it, and it's entirely unlikely that it's going to influence you to purchase either of those materials in a vacuum. So our question becomes, how do we ensure that our target audience develops positive associations every time they recognize our content? What happens when you imagine Coca-Cola, or you see the word Coca-Cola? You probably think of your favorite Coke product, the way it feels to pop the tab on an ice-cold can of Coke and take that first sip, the crackle of ice as you pour Coke into a glass. Even me saying this out loud might make you crave a Coke, and that's due to the associations your brain has developed around that brand. Unless you hate delicious brown sugar water for some reason, chances are good Coke creates positive associations in your head. For me, it's that gentle 45 milligram caffeine buzz from a Diet Coke that carries me through my midday slump. The simplest way to build positive associations on social media is just by making content that your audience is actually interested in and enjoys watching. But for our purposes, just watching is not the goal. We're trying to make money, after all. That brings us to the third component, audience identity. We're not selling Coke. Our product is going to be a lot more polarizing than Coca-Cola, meaning people are going to have very different opinions about it. Whether it's religious or moral beliefs, a general distaste for sex work, or good old-fashioned misogyny, people are going to have pre-existing negative associations about OnlyFans creators that we're never going to be able to overcome, nor is it worth our time to attempt to do so. So, we need to focus on the types of people that are into OnlyFans girls, and we need to identify ourselves as a member of the in-group with that particular audience. An example I'm going to use pretty frequently throughout this course is a country girl, trailer trash type creator, mostly because those are my people. So, if you have this redneck girl creator, the pairings and associations you create should be optimized for that specific audience. That country girl creator should not start campaigning for Kamala Harris in the next election, or, start talking about how abortion is cool and y'all really ought to start respecting trans folks more, you hear? That's going to alienate her core audience. And then, even worse, the types of people to whom that content or those beliefs might appeal are really unlikely to be interested in your creator at an aesthetic level anyway. So you're turning off the people most likely to relate to you and getting nothing in return. You cannot please everyone. So As you build brands in OnlyFans, you need to focus as much as you can on identifying your core audience, making sure they can identify you, and making them as happy as you possibly can. You start a new creator account that posts dance trends, lifestyle, food, workouts, and outdoor videos. After 60 days, the account has barely grown, and you're not getting any conversions. What is the most likely root cause?
Okay, guys, can I get an answer in the chat? These are knowledge checks. They're going to be a part of every single lesson. Once you get this correct, it'll indicate that the module has been completed on the main course screen. What do we got, guys? Give me an answer. B. We got B's in the chat. You guys are the goats. Incredible work.
You now know the three components of brand: recognizability, association, and audience identity. The rest of this chapter is going to teach you exactly how to build each of these three components from scratch. Before you move on, think of one creator you follow who has a strong brand. Can you identify which of the three components, recognizability, association, or audience identity, is doing the most work for them? Write it down, and we'll build on it throughout the chapter.
Filling out my Scantron. Hell yeah.
Next up, in 2.3, defining your audience, we're going to figure out exactly who you're making content for. And it's not what you might think.
All right, guys. So that is one of the lessons from the course. Congratulations. You've now seen what the course is. Well done. Well done. Yes, I built all of this myself in Claude. All of the infrastructure for this was built by me. So, by the way, if you purchase the course and there's an issue, some sort of technical issue or something, I'm sure that there's going to be edge cases. I've tried to QA this thing really thoroughly. I've clicked all the buttons. It's very likely that something's going to break. Again, I built all of this myself. So if at any point you ever have any issues, let me know and I will address it literally within 10 minutes of seeing the message. So you have that advantage, obviously. Like, all of you guys are going to have access to me through the group chat. And everything that I outlined earlier, for those of you that were not here earlier, this course has a lot of stuff going on. So you've got the 41 modules that are the main sort of meat of the course. And that's one of the shorter ones, Chris Davis. That's one of the shorter ones too. So all of this stuff comes with the course. If you weren't already on the wait list, unfortunately it is now too late, but we still have the raffle coming up next. And then the other thing, the promo code that I completely fucking botched earlier. So let me make sure that we're not on the promo code. We're going to go back to questions, actually. So here we go. And if you guys have any questions about the course, you can ask in chat. Anything that I haven't covered already, but I would love to answer any and all questions before everything goes live. Let me go ahead and switch back to, hold on, let me just do one thing before I start answering questions again. Where's OBS? So we do this. There we go. Okay, so we're back to questions. Give me 1 second and I will answer this. Trying to think here. Okay, is it worth finding a part-time copywriter to handle caption writing and on-screen text for Reels and other pieces of content across our agency's creators? I guess it depends on how much time copywriting takes for you and kind of what your team structure is. I wouldn't say that that's like a super priority hire by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure how to answer that, to be perfectly honest with you. It wouldn't be a high priority hire. Is it worth it eventually? Yeah, but that would be like that's when you've probably got a bigger creative team and you've just got better things to do. I think generally video editors should probably be responsible for on-screen text. Like they should be responsible for coming up with that, unless you've got some really like dumbass video editors that just absolutely can't do that for some reason. I would try to do that at least. Okay, next question. Yeah, and you can also just use AI to do most copywriting. Like it's not going to be as good as a good person, but like most people aren't good as good people. So what can you fucking do, right? Let me sorry, I'm still trying to deal with one last kind of technical hiccup here. Oh, music. Where the fuck is music? Let's get that shit back on. He do not have that shit on. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, sorry, I am back. I manage multiple VAs posting content across X, TikTok, and Reddit. They're solid on English and execution, but struggle with original high-performing captions. So this is basically the same as the last. Platforms like X basically require copywriter-level writing to get traction. What's the best way to train VAs to get consistently better captions and original content ideas across different platforms? God, that's a tough one, man. The problem is it's just like creative writing is not really something that you can mass produce. I agree that X basically requires copywriter level writing to get traction and to be really successful. It's really fucking hard. I think X is one of the hardest platforms. So I think I would just move. God, that's a tough one, man. It's a really tough one. The best way to train them is to have a system. I mean, that's going to be the answer to every training question, is to have a really fucking good system for getting them to understand. Like, that's what this course is. Part of the reason that I made this course transparently is I think that large agencies they need a training program. They need something that they can give their creative team that's going to be useful to them out of the box and get people to where they need to be as quickly as possible. And most agencies aren't able to do that. They don't have the processes in place. They don't know how to train their people. They certainly don't know how to hire and manage creative teams, which it's fucking hard. It's way different than anything else. So makes sense, right? But this is just a tough question. You just have to have a really good system. That's going to be my answer. Make your VAs binge watch Danco. Exactly. What is the most important factor in picking a niche for someone who has never used OF? My assumption is that country girls would be a great niche for me because I live in the Southeast, 15 minutes from a major university, but I have no point of reference to know if this is a wise place to start. Let's turn this down a little bit. Let me know if music's too loud, by the way. What is the most important factor? So the most important factor in picking a niche is asking yourself the question, what are you interested in? So, I would say, shit, man, I'm trying to think. It's got to be about what the creator likes to do. And then what you want to do is find the intersection of what the creator likes to do and what a largely male audience would be interested in watching that creator do. Country girls isn't really a niche. Country girls doing like bass fishing in a kayak is a niche, right? And you're going to attract a very specific, really dedicated audience that way. I think it would be a phenomenal niche to go into. But country girl isn't a niche because it's gosh, I usually have a great analogy for this, and it's in the course. Trust me, it's 2 hours past my bedtime, so I'm getting a little bit dumber. Okay, music volume's good. But yeah, don't just go into something assuming that like country girls is like an identity. It's like a very broad thing. It's like, is big boobs a niche? Of course not, but people will say that it is, right? So don't get niche confused with like a physical attribute or a cultural value of the creator. Very, very, yes, country girl would be a category. Country girl would definitely be a category. And I would even say it's more like, like outdoors or something like that. Let's just say country girl's a category, but there's a million different kinds of country girls. Does she like hunting? Does she like camping? Does she like hiking? Does she like fishing? Right? So that's going to be your niche within that category. And then something inside of fishing would be like bass fishing in a kayak would be a sub niche of that larger category. So cosplaying for a specific fandom, I don't really know a ton about the culture of cosplay, and like what those people are really looking for out of a content creator. So I would have to research that. I assume that it would work really well, especially if your creator is really good at inhabiting that character. But I think you want to take it a level deeper of like, what's cool is like watching somebody dress up like a comic book character isn't really that interesting. Watching somebody dress up like a comic book character and then do something that that makes absolutely no sense for that character, that's interesting, right? Like if you took a really sweet, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like, if you took maybe an anime character that is typically portrayed as being like really like nice and sweet, and then like, did something like kick somebody in the balls on camera, people would be like, oh, there's like a humorous juxtaposition there. That's something that you can do to make that more interesting. So cosplay isn't a niche. Cosplay is a category. Even cosplay for a specific fandom would be a niche. Your sub niche, that third level of specificity, would be like that specific character doing something interesting would be the sub niche, right? So cosplay plus X thing that is unique to that character or unique to that creator. Hopefully that makes sense. Rianis asks, how to structure your OF agency properly, what and how to delegate, how much to pay for each role like chatters and VAs, and most importantly, how to set up good outreach funnel to get more creators. It's a lot of questions. So I'm going to I might just answer one of those or something like that because I want to get to more questions while we have time. It's a little too vague. I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to start on the outreach piece. I think thinking about how to structure your OF agency properly prior to having your first model is you're putting the cart before the horse. Structure is important, but like, let's be real. When you get a model, it should just be you. Like you shouldn't have a team of people in place. You shouldn't assume that you know what you're doing well enough. Assuming you're starting from actual zero, don't assume that you know what you're doing well enough to even know how to hire people for those jobs, right? Like, how are you going to hire a chatter if you don't know what good chatting looks like? How are you going to hire a good marketing person if you don't know what good marketing looks like? How are you going to hire a VA and not be able to assess the person that you're hiring because you yourself have no fucking idea what you're doing? So don't think about structure if you're starting from zero, which I don't know if you are, but I'm going to assume that you are. Outreach funnel, yeah, I'll do that for sure. But from a structural perspective, think more about like establishing the relationship with the model. And then also I'm assuming that because you're going to be doing everything yourself. You should do everything yourself at first. Business, I think too many people in business get this idea that it's going to be like, I'll just hire people to do the thing for me and it'll be way easier. You should hire people that are better than you to do stuff for you, but you also need to know what good looks like in whatever role you're hiring for. You aren't going to just naturally have an intuition about that. 99% of people are not. So got to develop that by actually doing the job first. And then how to set up good outreach funnel to get more creators. I'm a big proponent. I'm not shy about it. I'm a big proponent of recruiting locally. So I don't think that you should be setting up like an Instagram and buying a bunch of followers to look credible. Like I hate that shit. I think that's bad I think it's bad for the business. I think it's a terrible way to do outreach. Most people are not going to be responsive to that. If I hypothetically just bought in full price and forgot to apply the early bird discount, is there a way to fix that? Winky Flex, yes, I will fix that for you. You're silly, but yes, I will fix that for you. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'll hook you up with the waitlist discount for sure, but it'll have to probably be tomorrow morning, but I will take care of that for you. Send me a message on Telegram so I don't forget, please, because I don't want you to get fucked over. Appreciate that. Okay. And then for the second question, outreach funnel, yeah, don't do what everybody else does and do like Instagram and like set up a fake, buy fake followers and shit. Like, don't try to be credible. Just admit, if you're new to the business, just admit that you're learning and find somebody local. There's every girl and her fucking mom is trying to do OnlyFans right now. You're not going to have if you actually go out and look and talk to people, get on a fucking dating app. Like, every girl on Tinder is on OnlyFans. Like, it's not that hard to find people. But like, I'm not saying like go on a dating app to hire models. I'm saying like there's a million girls out there who are doing OnlyFans and making zero money that you could actually help. You just got to figure out where they are and find them. And like, the way to do that is probably not Instagram DMs, because yes, they are on Instagram, but they're also getting DMs from people who are better than you at the job and have a better pitch and have a better offer. And you're just like, you're fucking yourself if you don't just go out where hot young people congregate. Go to the beach. Anywhere with a bulletin board, go to a climbing gym, go to a regular gym, places, put up an ad, like tell people that you're looking in your local area. It's going to be a way better offer than Instagram. If you're in a third world country and that's not an option for you, or like you're just in a remote area, I honestly don't know. I think that's the best way to do it. And I don't really know how I would get started if I didn't have you'd have to go salary models or something, which is just a shitty proposition right now. So. It's the checkout link is on, it's facelessfrancis.com. If you just go to facelessfrancis.com, but wait, don't everybody do it yet, because we're still doing the raffle ticket and we're still going to do the discount code. So, just pause. I mean, if you really want to go buy now, for some reason, I'm not going to stop you, but you might also be able to get 50% off instead of $1,000 off. So, pause. What was, yeah, I think posters are great. Posters, applications, and make it funny and clever and like not intimidating. Don't make it like, I'm looking for girls to manage. I'm looking for some beautiful young women to manage. Would you like to be managed by me? Just like make it funny. Make it funny and like cute or whatever, Don't be creepy. Yeah, QR code to an application page is great. There's no checkout link. It's just apply now. Yeah, the apply now button is the checkout link. So let me hold on. But again, like if you've got there's an email that's going out soon. Don't buy it full price. I mean, like, buy it full price if you want it that bad. Fuck it. But like, there's going to be a discount in just a second. So if you're on the wait list, you're going to get an email at midnight. There's not a limited number of courses, so I want you guys to get the discount. I appreciate everybody who's got their finger on the trigger. That means a lot to me. But just wait a sec. You'll save $1,000. Yeah. Thank you, Winky. Yeah, you just apply now, and it'll send you to checkout. I'm actually going to change the copy on that right now just to avoid confusion. Okay. Give me one moment. Okay, that button should be changing soon to clarify some things. Okay, Josh says, what specific steps do you take when completely rebranding a model? Josh, this is a very complicated question. It's what the course is all about. So a little bit tough to answer this concisely, but I'll give it a shot. Her current brand is an internet persona where she role plays as a soft dom goth with edgy goth music. Now we're building her new ASMR soft tone cooking page with commentary page where she can be 100% authentic. Okay, so this is what she wanted to do, right? Like where you're migrating from content that you thought would be good to content that she wants to do. That's great. That's a good move. I don't know how big this model is. I'm going to assume that she's not that big. I'm going to assume I haven't heard of this model. Don't like trip over yourself thinking that your model your model might have a brand, but she's not well known. And she's certainly not well known enough for like you to do something different and it matter at all. Right. So, And I would just do it on a separate account. Make sure that you're not like just using the same account. For this ASMR soft tone cooking page, I want to be 100% sure that I'm understanding this correctly. You need to create a totally new account for that. It's gonna, because your previous account is going to be synced to the people that are looking for that type of the soft dom goth type thing. So you're completely pivoting. You need to use a totally different account. So you're going to be starting from scratch. I would advise you, don't stop making the content that's working just yet. Have a little bit of a buffer, right? Have her batch create a bunch of content in advance that's specifically for that page. Maybe bring down posting volume. There's a very specific process that I outline in the course, but the basic playbook is you're going to direct traffic from that main page to the new page by saying, do a soft CTA like, hey, if you want to see a softer side of me, follow me here. And then your existing audience will, you'll be able to sort of funnel them over to the new page. You're going to get the people that you want to get, and that's going to be a great seed audience for you to grow much more quickly. Again, I go over that in detail in the course. So 45K followers. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, cool. No, that's great. I mean, you're thinking in the right direction, and it's not going to be a big deal. So just do it. Make sure she's having fun with it. ASMR soft tone cooking page, something that I will tell you is you're going to have to do lots of visually interesting stuff. ASMR is definitely like, it's a unique little sort of subgenre of content. So make sure that you really understand the triggers and what people are looking for. I'm actually working, with my fiance on a video, like it's a really deep scientific, like deconstruction of ASMR. So we do little research projects like that together. It's very cute. And we will, I'll have probably better information for you soon once we can finish writing this paper. Next question. Yeah, you got it, man. Okay. Logan asks, hi, Francis. Binged lots of your content lately. Great stuff. I do fairly well. God damn, you guys are asking big ass questions. Jesus H, fucking novel over here. Thank you, Logan. I have an account with 300K karma I manage that's 4 years old. Sometimes a post gets 1K. So I'm just going to, I'm going to just stop you right there and tell you I don't know jack shit about Reddit, so I'm probably not going to be able to help you super jättemycket. All I can do is confirm that yes, Clavicular and other major influencers are either paying, they're paying hundreds of clippers, or like the platforms that they stream on are paying hundreds of clippers to get boosted. If you want to do the same thing for OFM, you're going to have to pay. It's expensive. I think that Clavicular probably spends six-figure, not him himself, but like Kick probably spends hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million a month on clippers and paid promotion for Clavicular because he brings their platform so much traffic. And you have to think in the same way. I'm not a paid ads guy. That's not my wheelhouse. That's not my, it's not my expertise. So I would love to answer your question and help you, but I don't feel qualified to answer this question, and I'm not going to pretend. So sorry, Logan. Do people goon to ASMR? You fucking bet your bottom dollar they do. People absolutely be gooning to ASMR. You're the best OnlyFans manager I've ever seen before. I can't believe how good you are at this job. Buy the course. Is that good? Did I do good at? Maybe I should be an ASMR person. That's the next direction of my channel. Is my new sub niche is going to be OFM ASMR. I legitimately thought that it would be really funny to do like an OFM advice to fall, like an 8-hour OFM advice to fall asleep to video. I probably will, just as a gag at some point. But I'll probably do that as a gag, but I'm not going to do ASMR. Okay. Francis, your entire public, this looks challenging. Here we go. Francis, your entire public doctrine rests on organic only, no ads, no face. I don't know if I said that. 4 pillars, pure systems, but the single most under-discussed variable on OFM economics is an acquisition. It's the distribution of revenue inside a subscriber base, where the top 1.1 to 5% of whales routinely produce 40 to 60% of a creator's income. Your marketing and distribution pillars optimize beautifully for filling the funnel. Your product pillar optimizes for brand fidelity. But where in the 4-pillar framework does whale retention actually live? Is it a subcomponent of the customer pillar you haven't publicly decomposed? Wow. Phenomenal question. Whoever wrote this, what the fuck? A 5th unspoken pillar, or a deliberate omission because you consider it a creator-owned layer that the operator shouldn't systematize? That's a great question. Fuck. And if an operator wanted to engineer whale retention with the same rigor you apply to other pillars, what would you call the SOP? What would it contain? And what revenue threshold per creator does it become the highest leverage activity in the entire stack? Unbelievably good question, asking really important things here. So first of all, this is not something that I'm deliberately concealing or like that I have intentionally not publicly decomposed. I think I touch on it in other videos. But to answer it more definitively, let me think about this for a moment. Yeah, Ron, I'll probably do a couple more questions. Or no, that's the last one that's in the queue, but I still have more that I haven't added to the queue yet. So I'm going to answer this in as much detail as I can because it's a phenomenal question that deserves a thoughtful answer. So whale retention, I would say, is part of the product pillar. It's challenging because I think that whale acquisition is just as important as whale retention, but that's the piece that nobody's thinking about. And the reason that like that brand fidelity and like the qualities of the brand matter so much, it's not just because you're basically narrowing your top of funnel to filter for more devoted consumers, and more devoted consumers naturally will spend more money and they're more likely to become whales. I actually launched a software product last year that specifically aimed to answer this question. We wound it down because email marketing is annoying and we had deliverability issues, and I had to back burner it to focus on some other things. It was a phenomenal product that made, I think literally within our first 3 months, I think that we had generated over $1 million in client revenue, not for us, in client revenue. Specifically through leads that we generated with Harpoon. And the premise was very simple. The premise was, if you have a high quality organic social media brand, you are naturally going to have more devoted consumers and just like better, higher quality fans. And so it would be extremely high leverage to be able to identify those fans actually before they hit the page and have information on them before they hit the page. And so we thought about all of we being my fiance and I, who was my tech lead on this, we spent a lot of time thinking about the qualities of whales, how we might attract them. And the conclusion that we arrived at, I'm just going to open source it here. This is the product that we developed. We're not running it anymore, so I'll share it. Basically we had an application that lived in the link in bio underneath the OnlyFans link, and a user would take the application, and it was a boyfriend application, and it was very detailed. There were probably 20 to 25 questions on it, and they were in-depth questions, a mix of multiple choice and short form. But the questionnaire probably took about half an hour to fill out. Now, a standard OnlyFans marketer might look at that and say, wow, that's a lot of friction. Most people probably wouldn't do that. Therefore, I'm not going to use this as a marketing funnel or acquisition channel. But what we saw was if someone's willing to spend 30 minutes to fill out an application and they're giving you a bunch of information about themselves that's going to make the chatting experience instantly seamless and like 10 times more effective. And it turned out we were right. It turned out that actually like we could identify whales before they entered the pipeline. And moreover, we were able to reach out to them directly and convert them at absurd rates. So let's say I had a creator that I ran this project on that had just under 1 million followers at the time. And we collected, of that 1 million people, only I think it was 6,000 or 7,000, 7, that actually filled out the form. Of those 6,000 or 7,000 people, 2,000 converted to paid subscribers, and we had individual people in that subscriber cohort spend $20,000 or more within a 3-month period. Those were all leads that came directly from Harpoon. So from those 6,000 leads, I think we generated like $200,000 of revenue in 4 months or something like that. It was actually more than that. It was like $200,000. Sorry. It was $20,000 in the first month. And then it became like 20%, like 20% of our page revenue was coming from that infinitesimally small number of leads that we were converting. So let's say we were getting 500 paid subs a day, between 500 and like 800 paid subs a day. Maybe only 10% of those daily subs, maybe less, maybe 5% of those daily subs were coming from Harpoon, but those leads were on average like $300, $400, $500 LTV. insanely high quality leads, right? So what Joe In is asking here is an incredibly smart question. He's asking the right question, which is like if you can really identify your whales, you're going to generate more revenue than anybody else, and you have to service a smaller number of customers. You always want a higher quality customer. That's part of the reason the conclusions that we drew from Harpoon are part of the reason that I got so invested in organic social, because I was like, this is generating the highest quality leads by far, and we have tools that we can leverage in platform to even increase the quality of those leads further. So yeah, really good question. Hopefully I answered it. Yeah, I hope I answered it. I hope that all makes sense. Let's see. I'm just going to read some responses and do maybe one or two more questions. Okay, nope, nothing major there. All right, guys, we're in the home stretch. 23 minutes to go, and I might end a little bit early. I'm starting to tucker out. So let me hold on. Call me Carlson the way I be tuckering out. Let me add some new questions. Yeah. No, a Q&A. I need to import the Q&A. There we go. Okay. Forgot how my own fucking system worked yet again. Tools. Let's see. I'm trying to find some ones that I can answer relatively quickly, just because that was a Don and Josh. Most AI girls. Let's see. Okay. I'll take this one. So let me just. Do this. Yeah, I'm gonna pick two more. Winky Flexed, I don't know if you asked a question about the AI companions. I answered it earlier. I hope you were in the chat at that point. Zoe signed off, so I don't want to do hers. Let me see. What is this? I don't know what this is. Come on. I think most of these I answered already, so I'm just trying to find one or two. Thank you to everybody who asked questions again. Super sick. Okay, I guess I'll do this one since it's easy and we're in the home stretch. So let's do that. All right. And let's do set next. Oh, no. Mark done. Next. Active. There we go. Okay. So, you didn't answer my question in full, to be fair. E50, remind me what your question was again? Will I ever bring the Harpoon service back? Josh, I might think about it. With the tools that I have now and the information that I have now, I think we could probably pull it off again, but it's not really where I want my focus to be at the moment. I would honestly rather just like explain to people how to build it for themselves than to rebuild it and manage it myself, which is like, obviously it was a valuable service. But I just want to focus on other stuff. There's just so much cool shit going on in the world right now. I put my blood, sweat, and tears and heart and soul into this course. I think I made a really phenomenal product, and I'm ready to do something that's a little bit more like, have a little bit more fun, probably do some personal projects and take a little bit of a breather away from like the hardcore OFM education stuff. So okay. So we will now do, wait, I won't. AI creators. I definitely answered your question about AI creators. I answered it earlier for sure. Okay. Sarah asks, is it worth buying an IG account or is it better to grow from scratch? Always, always, always better to grow from scratch for sure. The reason when you buy an Instagram account, you don't know what the trust score is. Most likely, if that account is of any size, having a following doesn't matter anymore in terms of distribution. And what I mean by that is it's a little bit complicated, but basically the way that the social media algorithms work today is that, and I just explained this at length in my most recent video, or one of my more recent videos. I don't know if it's my most recent one, where I talk about how the algorithm works. Basically what happens is you post a piece of content, 200 people roughly see that piece of content. And if they like it, then 2,000 people get to see it. And if those 2,000 people like it, 20,000 people get to see it. And it keeps going like that. It's exponential growth, and it keeps growing like that until it reaches an audience that doesn't want to see it, that doesn't like it, and then it says, no more. I'm not pushing this out anymore. A 0 follower account can have a 10 million view reel because of that system, if the piece of content is good enough. And so what you want to optimize for is the likelihood that the algorithm knows who the best first 200 people, then 2,000 people to see that piece of content is. And the way to do that the most effectively is to tune the algorithm to understand what your content is all about and only do that one thing very, 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 very well. So when you buy an IG account, it's somebody else who has not put any thought into that process. Maybe it's a meme page or a babe page. And what your hope is that whatever that niche was that the account was built in is the same as yours or is going to appeal to the exact same audience. And in most scenarios, you have no way of determining that prior to buying the account. So you're just gambling. And it's also really easy to grow accounts from scratch. So it's always better to grow accounts from scratch because you can sculpt the demographics much better than you would be able to with like a pre-bought $100,000 account or 100,000 follower account where you're just totally at the mercy of whatever that account's previous audience was. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, next and final question, and then I'm going to reveal the discount code. So hope you guys have fast fingers. Everybody get tuned up, get ready. So yes, the warm-up is important, Sarah, and what you're going to want to do, I go into this in detail in the course, of course, but what you're going to want to do, roughly speaking, is just like follow a bunch of creators that are in the niche that the account is going to be in and engage with their content for a couple of days before you post anything, is the simplest way to describe it. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's a good rough thing to do. Think later as it's nearly 7 a.m. You stayed up all night. The people that stayed up all night for this, man, you guys are the fucking best. I really appreciate that shit. Means a lot to me. So I'm going to wrap this up soon so you guys can get to bed or start your days or whatever the fuck you're doing. High Noon asks, this last question. Most AI girls on social media just post viral format content with no real niche or persona. It clearly works short term, views, conversions, subs, but thoughts on it hold long term, or does the audience churn once the viral content stops performing? It's a little bit of a... Vinga, I didn't skip your question. I just didn't have a chance to get to it. There's still like 40 questions in the queue. I just couldn't get to all of them. I have to add these to the queue manually. So what I'm going to say about this is AI girls on social media just post viral format content with no real niche or persona. That's true. Does it works short term for views, conversion, and subs? Yes. I don't know about the conversions piece of that. I'm not super convinced on that. From what I've seen, you have to have free pages for that mass market stuff. And so you're naturally operating on way lower LTV. Your cost basis is worse. Your margins are worse. So I think, yeah, it's mostly the same thing as like the Sophie Rain thing, where if you have infinite dollars to spend on a horizontally scaling strategy, you can do that. But I think it's just better to have an IP quality AI creator that's perfectly serving a small niche. Like the era of going viral in general, the era of that being desirable that's a vanity metric. Like getting a 10 million view reel is a vanity metric. It's cool. 10 million people saw your thing. 0% of them convert, who fucking cares, right? I would rather get my thing in front of the 100 people who want to see it most in the world and are going to buy things from me than 10 million people that have zero purchasing intent. And unfortunately, the mass market viral format stuff, this applies to not just AI girls, but to everything. It attracts an audience that is statistically primarily third world. I've done a video on this. The purchasing power of, on OnlyFans specifically, 85 Indian fans equals 1 fan from the United States. Literally 85 to 1. So you might be getting 85 times more eyes, but if they're coming from the wrong country, it's not good for the business. And if those people do convert, they're spending less on an individual basis on average. So you're going to have to hire a bunch of chatters to handle the volume. It's going to be way lower quality volume. So your costs go up. You're not actually making any more money just because you're getting more subscribers if they're low quality subscribers. That's my whole thesis. That's the whole thing that I've based all of this stuff around. I have proven it to be true. I'm not saying it's the only way. There's guys making a killing in horizontal, 100%. I'm friends with some of them. But I think that for most people, like an overwhelming majority of people that are getting into this business that are relatively new, this is a much faster, easier, more, I think, satisfying, more fun way to do the business. It's not for everybody. I'm not going to lie and say that it is. There's some people that are just not cut out for like this style of like scaling. But for the people for whom it works, it's going to work extraordinarily well. And you're going to walk away from this course with all of the principles that you need to execute on that at an extremely high level. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Because that's the last question that I'm going to answer. I am going to give you guys a 10-second countdown. And on 10, I'm going to go over to the next tab. What you are going to do, everybody go to facelessfrancis.com right now. If you plan on purchasing the course tonight, go to facelessfrancis.com right now. I'm going to wait. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to go to the website and get your trigger fingers ready. And then I'm going to put the promo code on screen. What's about to happen is this promo code is only good for 10 people. So the first 10 people that put this in and purchase the course as soon as this slide change happens and enter this promo code are the only people that are going to get this. And it is half off the course. So I'm going to let everybody get ready. Oh, the raffle. Let's do the raffle first. Okay, you guys all go to facelessfrancis.com and I'll do the raffle first. That is important. Thank you for reminding me. That would have been pretty silly. Let me see if I can just do this. Does that work? It does. Okay, great. All right, raffle time. Who's going to get the freebie? Jess. Okay, Jess, I don't know if you are in the chat, but you should shortly be receiving a, whatchamacallit. You should shortly be receiving an email to get your free raffle thing. So you will get a free, totally comped version of the course. Whoever you are, I don't know if you're still in the chat. If you're in the chat, say something for sure. Maybe you're asleep, I don't know. But congratulations to Jess. At yahoo.com. Man, who the hell has a Yahoo email address these days? Okay. All right, Jess, congratulations. Now I will go. Is everybody ready? Everybody ready? In 3, 2, 1, go. Best of luck. Godspeed. I'm going to go take a piss again. I hope so. Let's see. Let me let me pull up the number of times tonight that I have like almost pulled up my like main Stripe dashboard on stream. I don't know how streamers don't fuck up more often. Okay, we got buyers. Let's see. We've got buyers. I will leave this up for the rest of the stream, so. And just pull up the Stripe account. Hell no, I ain't. Boy, you out your mind. There's customer information on there. I'm not accidentally doxing somebody. Here we go. Have you lost your damn mind? I guess I can answer more questions in the meantime. I'll just do it off screen. Let me do that. And where are we? That's right. Do you guys, okay, this is a thing that I've been like kind of dealing with. Some people hate music during the live streams. I can't imagine doing a live stream without music. Like just talking would be, I would get fucking bored. I'd be bored to fucking tears. So what do you guys think? Music? Yes, no? In general? W stream, we got W stream. Can I get a W in the chat? No worries, Blue Sunset. No worries. All right, back to questions. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I love Ryo Fukui as well. Hold on, let me play one of my favorite. Actually, it's a little bit upbeat. I love Ryo Fukui, but here's a. I'm gonna put you on something really, truly phenomenal in the realm of Japanese jazz. This is one of my favorite tracks of all time. This is Masahiko Sato's Grama Grass. This is an unbelievably beautiful piece of music. Yeah, this is perfect. This will close out the stream. Okay. Oh, wait. I actually have to rerun the raffle because I didn't approve some of these questions. So people who actually submitted questions were not included. So, okay. Hopefully, sorry, Jess. I just realized that. Hopefully Jess isn't in the stream and mad at me. I just realized that I had not included a bunch of people. So back to the raffle. Sorry. Who we got? Who we got? Who we got? Who we got? Big whammy. Big whammy. No money. Big whammy. Rayanus. Rayanus, are you in the chat? Yo, Smoke It. We got Smoke It fans in here. For those of you who don't know, Smoke It is like the mascot of the Faceless Francis Telegram channel. Hold on, I'm just screenshotting this so that I don't forget to make sure that you get your free thing. No, it's Faceless Francis Unmasked. Of course I'm not wearing a mask, bro. I can't play the Smoke It voice notes. I don't know how to do that on, I have to like find them. I should have had them prepared. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Smoke It is like, I don't even know where he's from. That guy fucking rules though. He's just a random ass guy in my Telegram group chat who will just like once a week post just a freestyle. And it's the funniest fucking thing ever. It's just like, it gets me every fucking time. And like legitimately every time I see that in the chat, I'm like, yo, Smoke It single dropped. Let's fucking go. I get hype. Yeah, Smoke It is a legend. Smoke It is Smoke It is a fucking Smoke It is the real top G, dude. Funny. Let me see. Okay, wait. That's the whole reason that I went back there, was to find more questions. So let me go back to that. Or you know what? Fuck it. I'll do chat questions. Somebody ask a question in chat. The Telegram group, if you Blue Sunset Soup, if you go to facelessfrancis.com, up in the resources tab, it'll say Telegram, and you can join it there. I think. Oh wait, no, it's in the description too. It's in the description. Yeah, it is. It is free. It's a free Telegram community. It's the third link in the description. We have a great community in there. Really, really dope guys. So Feel free to ask questions in the chat, guys. We're rounding things off here. Bum, bum. Francis, what convinced you to do a face reveal and why now specifically? Yeah, I just wanted to celebrate the course launch, and I just thought I looked really good. Look how cute I am. This is I have a human hands, but I'm a stuffed raccoon. Where do I get my mask? This is Grama Grass by Masahiko Sato. Let me... Winky, yeah, that's fine. Message me on Telegram and I'll make sure to refund you. I'll just, yeah. If you could have a creator of any category and niche spawn to your door right now, granted you were still doing OFM, what would you pick? That's a great question. Shit. So kind of the beautiful thing about AI is that you kind of can do that. It's the sophistication is a little bit more difficult. I would say, I think something that I understand at a really deep level would be like, again, I don't want to dox myself, but like there's specific games that I think like if a creator was like competitive at a specific game, I would fucking drill the competitive gaming community. I would hit them so hard, dude. I would be like, if you gave me an OnlyFans creator that was like a competitive gamer, it would be like crack. It would be the worst thing. It would be like a gamer holocaust. All of their wallets would be emptied. It would be over. They would never, like Twitch would die overnight because I would take every gamer's money, all of it. So I think that like, yeah, the competitive gaming niche is really undersaturated, especially for OnlyFans creators. I think about stuff like esports, Olympic athletes. Typically athletes tend to do incredibly well on OnlyFans, like female athletes for sports teams, WNBA, women's soccer leagues, because it's like guys are into that, right? It's a pretty specific type of audience. There's a celebrity and a status that's associated with that. And it's like, oh, I can like talk to this hot sports girl that I really like. So I think doing that with esports would be like 10 times better. Yeah, Super Mario 64 speedrunner niche, exactly. Which game? I think competitive Pokemon would be really fun. Poker would be really cool. I don't know. There's a million different things. But what are the most important skills you have to be fluent in to succeed in this business? I go over that in detail in the beginner video that I made. Okay, Venge4242. This is going to be the last question that I answer tonight. Why is everybody driving traffic to OF and similar and chatting and selling there, giving up lots of control and share and not using custom pages or direct sales tools in DMs, Telegram, etc.? Trust is the quickest answer to your question is trust. People don't want to put... People tend, let's say, to do things that many other people are doing. It's very well known that OnlyFans is like a... Whatever you think of the platform, like the platform itself doesn't scam people, right? So if you send money to OnlyFans, you know that your credit card information is protected. You know that you're not going to be the victim of fraud. Like, you know that they're not just like scamming you or whatever. It's a legit website, right? People are a little bit more comfortable with that. It's not necessarily just security. It's like also like an understanding of what you're going to get once you're on the platform. And when you... like Telegram, it's like if I'm trying to sell you something on Telegram, the odds that I'm not stealing from you seem very low. If someone reaches out to me on Telegram, even if I'm in like a group, I get added to fucking random groups all the time. I immediately just go like block and report. Like I don't fucking care. Don't add me to shit. Don't fucking, it's no, even if it's useful to me, it reads as scammy. So I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I'm a more sophisticated consumer. Not everyone's going to have that level of resistance, but I think it's just generally harder. There's more friction. People just know what OnlyFans is. And it's easier to get people to create an OnlyFans account and get them into that kind of like distribution network than it is to build your own. Generally speaking, that's true. So I think that's basically the real answer. I did already review submitted accounts. I'm not going to do any more of those because I only got to, I think, 4 of them, but they just take a long time and they're a little bit tough, and I'm very, very tired and I'm about to end the stream. So once again, guys, thank you so much for everybody who participated in this, who has subscribed to the channel, who has purchased, is going to purchase the course, just for being around. This has been super fun. I've spent a lot of time on this. I think people are going to get an extraordinary amount of value out of it. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the community that sort of arises out of this course, and hearing the feedback, and everybody turning this course into businesses that make lots and lots of money. So you guys have a phenomenal night. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the group, and I'll hopefully see you in the course. Have a great evening, everybody.